Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Drake Maye era has begun.
I'm going to bow to you.
By game 6, he will be the starter.
Really?
Call me now for your free reading.
It's gonna be Maye.
It's gonna be May. Perfect.
Dark Dussault.
Bad dude.
Dark Dussault.
Sorry, I'm in a good place though. I gotta admit.
Bob Cratch
Yeah.
might have come.
Crash.
I hate when you look at me
No,
like that.
it's just funny
It
'cause
makes
I-
me feel so
you-
bad about
you-
myself.
no.
But you do. You have this
On
way
the
of
back.
looking at me like, what?
That's my
kind of a person. Heaven smells like outside.
Oh yeah, you smell like the fall
Is that
leaves.
a good thing or a bad
It's like
thing?
you smell like you just came in from outdoors.
Oh, like beach? I smell
Oh.
like beach.
No.
Fall. So Evan, what did you see out there? Well, what would you say was the mood?
It's a little early for that.
Sorry, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, really.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium. We're here for another edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We're days away from a big tilt against the Houston Texans, and of course, the debut, the premiere, the coming out party. Well, I don't know if it's a coming out party yet, but hopefully, our first look at Drake Maye as the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots in a regular season game. So, what's not to be excited about?
That's what I said yesterday. How can
Yeah.
you not be excited
I'm
to
ex-
see the kid play?
And like I said, I am excited, but I'm also nervous. I'm also anxious. I'm going to be watching, like I said, like he's my kid out there, and just hoping everything's okay. Yeah.
Just like walking around the media room today, we just heard from Alex Van Pelt and DeMarcus Covington, but just talking to I just hope he doesn't get hurt. I just don't really understand that mindset.
I know.
I hope he doesn't get hurt too.
Right.
But I hope all the players don't get hurt. Unlike you, you only hope Patriots don't get hurt. You
Right.
want all the other players. I don't
Sure.
want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah, it just feels like the season's been so cursed already, so why are we continuing to even speak it into existence?
He's not a captain, so he probably should be all right.
Yeah, that's
there
true.
you go.
Seems like only
No,
bad things happen to our captains.
I'm anxious and nervous from a performance standpoint. I just want him to do okay. And I know it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be far from perfect. But I want to come out of this game saying he's going to be okay.
And that's the thing, I think, the thing I'm most nervous for is fans' expectations. I'm worried they're inflated too high. I think we don't know how to go through a rebuild, and what you're looking for is a couple good throws, a couple good plays, a couple good decisions that give you a glimpse of hope that it's going to improve. And if he loses the game, you can still take a lot of good out of that probably. So I hope people temper their expectations.
Yeah, it was funny because, a lot of people have talked about those kinds of different things. You see it. When training camp started, I'll be honest, and I was really high on Drake Maye coming into training camp. But the first, week or so, I was like, ooh, I don't see a lot. And then all of a sudden, sort of after that joint practice with Philadelphia, it sort of started on the rise. Remember, Fred, when he played in the preseason game against the Eagles? And from that point on, he seemed to get better every day. And that's when the stuff that Alex is talking about started. It was you didn't have to see him light it up, but you said, okay, I see what they're all talking about.
Yeah.
I see what the scouting report, there's that throw, that move in the pocket, that decision. You could start to see it.
And forget about preseason. That joint practice against the Eagles was probably the closest thing to what he's going to see in a real game against the top flight.
Well, let's hope it looks a lot better than that.
No, but I'm talking about in terms of quality pass rushers who are out there to get you at full speed. That was probably the biggest learning experience he's had since he's been here.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But to Alex's point, I don't need him to go out and put up 45 points, but I want to see some things that I was told about, the things that I sort of watched on tape and looking at his highlights. I want to see some of those plays. I don't know how many of them, but I want to see signs of those.
So it's Paul, it's me, it's Alex. Evan will be here. Mike will be here. Jules is in the booth, being backed up by Matt. She's
here's Mike
learning the board, and here comes Mike. Mike from the.
Yeah, did you
Quick
catch
stint.
that? Did you catch
Quick
on
stint in
the
the locker
as
room?
Mike gets settled, Freddie?
Yeah.
Did you catch Evan and I giving Mike a hard time about his tempo and
Well,
order?
I got emails.
His
In and out of the
order
huddle?
of the.
I've got emails that you were too quick on the draw
Yes,
on the mood.
Yes.
Oh, I
Like
did
he
terrible,
jumped the
Fred.
gun on the mood.
I did really bad.
He didn't. Yeah.
I was out of toy. I didn't like. Fred lets it marinate for a minute, and then
Yes.
he's like, "So, what was the and I was like, "What's the mood?" Like,
There's
I
no
don't-
rush. You
Nah,
don't
I
have
just
to rush.
looked like a little early for
I
that.
know.
No?
Well, the show was running out, and I felt like we had things to get
Yeah,
to.
and Andre from New Jersey said it threw everything out of whack. Like everything.
Damn you, Andre from New Jersey. Yeah. So
He's not wrong.
No, it was fun though. We had a little solo
did.
sesh of the PP and the Deuce riding strong. Had some good
PP and the
calls.
Deuce took over the last hour of the show.
Yeah.
We brought it home.
Good talk. Of course, we talked some Bledsoe, some '93 Patriots. You know, we
Yeah,
had
that's when Mike shamed me for knowing William Roberts and Bob Cratch.
Bob Cratch with the glasses that were like this thick. It's like it's a good thing he played center because like he couldn't see like 2 inches in front of himself.
That's all you need when
He
you're
was a center, right?
Fred's
Bob
before
Cratch?
me. I don't know.
No.
You don't remember Bob Cratch?
Oh, I obviously I remember him. I talked about him, but I didn't cover those teams, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember that.
Bob Cratchit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I wasn't in the locker room actually. I was in the Revs locker room because that's
Oh.
the new locker room.
The
Well,
new-
let's
the
talk
new normal?
Well, let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
The NFLPA has been pushing to get cameras, well, really anyone out of the locker room, and I think they came up with a compromise. And so, what is it exactly?
So yeah, they've set up in the Revs locker room across the hall, and as I was walking over, they had a little troop of people walking over with I guess it was Trey Jacobs and then Jacoby Brissett, and so they have all the cameras set up. They've got a backdrop, so instead of seeing guys in front of their lockers, you're now going to see guys in front of a backdrop. And I mean, the unfortunate part I feel is. Actually, no. You know what? It's still okay because people can still go into the locker room. There's just no cameras in there anymore. So people are still going into the locker room and I think meandering and chatting. But for the big on-camera scrums that we have to cover, they walk across the hall. So
So you can get all the players are in the locker room, so you can get to any player you want, and then.
But if you want to shoot video,
If you want to shoot video of them, you
yeah.
have to then ask, "Hey, can you come across the hall?"
Yeah, so I mean, in the past, it used to be a little more organic. Like all of a sudden, you'd see like all the cameramen would, like start to walk one direction, and everyone would like, "Oh, it's happening!" And they'd start to run. So now it was the same kind of thing, except you're all going across the hall and into another room. And but they had a nice setup, and they had a little mic stand and stuff. So
Yeah. See, to me, they fixed it halfway.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? What are you looking for?
I don't think anyone should go in the locker room. Period.
Not even in there.
Yeah, I think there should be a place, and whether it's the Revs locker room or in other places, but there should be a place where all the players are mandated to have to go to, so they're all there, and you can all get to them with your cameras and your writers. But it's not in the locker room. The locker room should be a sacred place.
Yeah.
It should be a safe space for them where they don't have to worry about what's in their locker or getting photographed half nude or whatever. All those interviews should be mandated, but should be in a different place. And I've said that for years.
Yeah, well, I think this is a pretty good compromise, though, Fred. Like, I mean, they're still going to be able to talk in the locker room, but there's just no video allowed in there. So if you want to go and get, audio for a story and interview a guy on your own, you can still do that. It's just you're not allowed to bring all the TV cameras in and, get all the shots.
Yeah,
of
I agree with
lockers
Mike,
and
Fred,
stuff.
because and I understand what your point is, and you and I have been together on this from the start because neither one of us has ever particularly enjoyed having to go into the locker room. But I do think it might be easier for the players to do it like this, too, because it's less intrusive, so they have a little bit more privacy. But they're also, it's a 45-minute block out of their day where they're getting ready for practice, they're, preparing for whatever. And if you say now you have to go in another room, that's 45 minutes they're not doing something else.
I guess.
You know? So they kind of eliminate your, what you have in your locker, and they're taking pictures of and things like that, and obviously being half naked when they're getting photographed, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's out because cameras are out. And my guess is they'll be pretty vigilant with that. If anybody's like trying to get a phone out or something like that, you lose your credential for that stuff, I would imagine. But you can still talk.
Yeah.
While you're getting ready and dressed, and you don't have to say, well, Jacoby Brissett, everybody wants to talk to you. You have to go over in that room for 20 minutes, and you can just go about your day.
Yeah,
and
it was
still
quick.
talk.
It was quick, and like I said, Jacoby did talk, and I mean, seemed a little down as you would expect, but said, Drake came up to me and was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, I really appreciate. It's like, you just worry about you, but he said just how much he likes Drake, and that Drake's been really respectful for this whole process, and it seems like it seems like they've genuinely developed a bond, and they seem to care about each other. So not an easy thing for Jacoby Brissett. He said, look, I've been through hard things before. I'm sure I'll be through more hard things again, but it's disappointing, and he can't really point a finger, and I mean he got asked, do you feel like you're being scapegoated? And he wouldn't really go there with any of that stuff. So I think he's handling it just like he handled all these games that we've seen, like a consummate professional, and he took the hits and he kept coming back even in those interviews. So a lot of respect for him, and just how he handled it. I wouldn't expect anything different.
No, and I think that's why he was the perfect person to bring in for this role. I mean, this was the plan. You talk about the plan. The plan was for Jacoby to come in, keep the seat warm until Drake Maye was ready. You need a specific type of veteran to do that, because it was definitely, they were dead set on having a veteran, which I agree with. And you can't have a guy come in, like, let's say a Derek Carr, who, no, I want to keep playing. I want to start. I don't want to lose this job. The person had to be resigned to the fact that, they just picked this guy 3rd overall. He's going to play eventually. No matter what I do, he's going to play eventually.
Yeah, one of the cool things Jacoby pointed out was that his first start also came against the Texans, and he said that they were actually playing it on, I guess, one of the TVs in the training room today. And Dan Roach asked him, what was it like, with that
Thursday night football.
Thursday night football, and he said, I had no facial hair, just kind of the wide-eyed kid, and I think Dan followed up and said, "Didn't you give the game ball back to Bill?" And he's like, "Yeah, I wish I had kept it though." So he's still got a little bit of sense of humor about it, and it seems like he's handling it as well as you could expect anybody to.
Yeah, that was one of those. It was rare in those times where that they weren't expected to win. They actually weren't expected to win, not like they fabricated it. Yeah. That was one they weren't expected to win, and then they win, I think, 27-0.
Happened a couple times over that 20-year run where all of a sudden you put Belichick to like the test as a coach. It's just a really tough personnel situation. I'm struggling to think of another one off the top of my head.
The other team fumbles like 3 kickoffs.
Well, I know. Just it's interesting to see.
It was unbelievable that night.
How they approach the game. Not regardless of how the game unfolded. Just when a coach gets a challenge where you got to get a rookie quarterback ready to play on a short week, and he's the 3rd string, so you really hadn't planned that, but. Those are always tough coaching challenges.
To your point, Bill and Josh dial up that little quarterback keeper. I was like a high school play, and he ran like 30 yards for a touchdown. It was awesome. It was an awesome night. Then they got shut out the next week. It was like, what are we doing? We never get shut out.
What was the next week? That was
Buffalo.
Oh, right. Yeah. And they had a little fight.
They lost 16-0
before the game. I remember.
That I don't remember.
Yeah, Jacoby running off the field. Somebody's.
Oh yeah.
I think Malcolm Mitchell got in the middle of that one.
I do remember now. I do remember now.
Wasn't that somebody running past our bench and getting too close?
I think it was Malcolm Mitchell, I think.
Yeah.
The Bills were chirping and Jacoby came running over.
I think we ran in the wrong spot.
We ran in the wrong
spot?
spot?
Don't.
I think you're right.
No, it was always the other team.
Well,
it's always the other team.
I think sometimes we did that stuff on purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
got to ruffle
Buffalo,
some feathers.
we were in Buffalo's head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think some of that stuff was done intentionally. I know, like, they did something to McDermott. I think that's when you branded him R.A. Yeah. R.A. McDermott.
No, your guy did that.
No, but you remember when they...
No, but your guy was the first guy to call him that.
Oh, who's my guy?
Felger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You stole something from
Red
Felger?
ass.
Wow.
No, he didn't do the R.A. I did that.
You called him R.A.
But that's what it stands for.
No, that was... Yeah. NAF was pretty... That was yours.
That's mine. Yeah.
NAF was Peyton Manning at the end. When after he had all the surgeries and stuff.
Yeah, we can't.
NAF was noodle-armed penis head.
Oh, I see.
NAF.
PH, like photo.
PH.
Yeah,
NAF.
Because he looks like one. He's got that big forehead.
That was all Fred.
But now we all love Peyton Manning. He's no longer our enemy. He's America's sweetheart.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, the whole Manning family. And now Arch is coming up. Yeah.
Arch, I know.
I just think Peyton and Eli do a good job of balancing sort of nonsense with self-deprecation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-deprecation, that's everything.
But it's not over the top, like, I saw it.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
they're like
they're
funny.
goofy guys that you would want to have a beer with.
Like they're really good business people, obviously, but they don't take themselves that seriously on camera, which is It is nice. It's nice. They're
Did
doing
you
a
hear
good
them
job.
like making fun of Bill the other day about Patricia with the pencil and the
yeah.
laminated play sheet?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Right.
can you use that?
That's good.
Trying to straighten it.
That's good. Oh, by the way, this Hernandez thing on
so funny.
what is it? Hulu,
FX.
FX.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching it, but I see
Matt's
the
going to
clips.
jump in
The
because
social
Matt
side?
watches
It
every
is
week.
unreal. I
Did you
love
see
it.
the latest clip
The
with
Gronk one?
when he first meets Gronk? Whoever's playing Gronk
Perfect.
has the
Oh, yeah.
laugh
The
down
voice,
perfectly.
But he
Perfect.
keeps doing it so randomly. It almost seems like he's, I don't know, autistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gronk kind of does that too.
Yeah.
Like he'll randomly
Yeah.
burst out laughing at himself mid-sentence when it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I might have to watch this whole thing.
I mean, I think I'm good with the clip.
it's
worth a
watch, I'm telling you.
No,
Yeah.
Matty,
So the
Matty
clip
sent
that
me
I
a
saw
clip with
this
Bill
week-
with the wow.
Like I couldn't get through more than 10 seconds.
Bill,
Oh,
like-
that was
Bill-
like, what are they doing?
That is never. I mean, I think it's hilarious. The guy. I mean,
The
there's a
mannerisms are
right,
there.
Like, and
The
even
mannerisms
pencil
and the
hair
grunting
kinda
is
right.
there.
When they
Like
they
that
showed the
guy,
draft, yeah.
that guy put in a lot of
sits
work
like
to
this.
study Bill.
Yes.
But then I saw Edelman's podcast, a clip from that, making fun of like they went so far with Bill's character, but like the actual football jargon
Oh,
coming
no,
out of
so
his
you're right.
mouth is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
terrible. He's like talking about
Yeah.
sets they didn't
Fullback
even run.
offset,
Yeah,
and,
that they
like,
didn't
he's
even
like,
run
we
that
didn't even
year.
have a fullback on this
Yeah,
team
I
that
think
year.
Hoyer
Like, Brian
said
Hoyer
that.
was
Yeah.
getting all like technical.
Well,
about it.
well,
Like,
yeah,
nobody
I mean, come on.
cares.
Who cares about that? You know?
Plus,
But
I
if
think
you-
what Bill's saying is we're going to use these two tight ends and we can use one of them as a
Yeah.
fullback. Like, yeah, they didn't have a fullback, but Hernandez is kind of a fullback. That's
Yeah, that's it.
I,
there
I,
you
I
go,
would
there you
actually,
go.
I would actually, as the kids say, clap back at that.
The actor playing Mr. Kraft is like criminal.
Oh no,
That's
I,
bad.
It's criminal.
I don't ever
So
I
remember
think the
seeing
same
that.
thing with Aaron Hernandez, though. Why do they have the short guy playing Aaron?
Yeah, Fred showed us a clip of that whole draft thing, and yeah,
Yeah.
Robert
Make the
guy
pick.
is awful. You know, Bob
Call it in.
call
Call
it
it
in.
in.
No, like
That's
that
Do
was
it.
awful. But Bill, I
Yeah.
agree with Alex. I think the guy that's playing Bill nailed it.
No,
The
Norbert
antics, the
Leo Butts, I
mannerisms
think is
are
his
there.
name. The actor's name, Norbert Leo Butts, I believe. Is his,
But do you
his
really
name.
think Bill ever stood in his
you work with
office
him?
playing Bon Jovi? It's like,
I know.
Well, with the pencil,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I
Well,
told you,
I heard a
I saw her for
story-
10 seconds.
Bon Jovi went on Edelman's podcast, and I guess like the band got Bill a drum set, and he was actually pretty good at it.
Oh, hasn't he drummed at something before?
The Bon Jovi episode of Edelman's podcast is worth listening to. There's some really fun Bill lore in there. But yeah, I guess like he's a big drummer. I don't know if
Bill?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he has
Hey.
blasted Bon Jovi in his
October of
office or whatever.
2020, Bon Jovi reveals that Bill Belichick is a closet drummer.
Yeah.
yeah, nothing would surprise me with Bill Belichick anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't be stunned if Bill had Bon Jovi playing in his office at times. I just don't think it was
playing
like
it.
that.
No, like
Yeah.
getting himself pumped
Yeah.
up.
Right,
No.
right.
They had him doing the rock and rolls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would
Come
say.
on.
That was probably a little bit too much.
He had the whistle though too. He like opened the whistle drawer, and I was waiting for like a a Bill whistle twirl. Like that's another one.
But I think they must be, obviously, they're doing this intentionally because they know we're going to talk about it.
yeah.
You know?
No,
I don't know.
I think it's funny. I don't think. Have you watched the whole thing, Matt?
I've watched every episode that airs.
How
It
many-
airs
oh my
weekly.
God.
Every Wednesday it airs.
How many episodes are there?
10 episodes.
Jeepers.
Episode 5 just aired.
And are each one an hour or how long?
Yeah, about 45 to 53 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to watch it.
I mean, I look forward. You know what you do, Fred? You wait till it's all out, and
Yeah, then you can
kinda,
binge.
Go
Yeah.
through it.
I just let you
your
guys
spot.
tell me
Maybe
how
I'll
bad it is.
download. I can download the episodes, right?
Yeah, they're available on Hulu.
Oh, I'm gonna.
On the
I'll
way
watch
to-
it on London.
on the way to London,
watch it on
man.
London.
There
I
you go.
watched
I
the
got
Vince
on London.
McMahon on the way to
Oh.
West Coast, so I'll watch this.
Yeah,
on the
it's
way
on
to-
Hulu, Fred.
Huh?
Hulu. That's where you can stream it.
Yeah,
Hulu.
wait, what?
We
You're breaking
Oh,
up.
sorry, I didn't turn
You're
my.
breaking
Oh,
up.
Hulu is where it's on.
Oh, it's on. I don't have the
I
Hulu.
got the Hulu.
I don't
You
have the
not
Hulu.
You don't know from the Hulu.
Yeah, maybe
I'll give you my Hulu for
Use
London.
someone's login, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one of those trials and then cancel it or something.
There you go.
I'll figure it
Good
out.
luck.
Do like a
figure it out.
virtual credit card and then cancel the virtual credit card so they can't rebill you.
Oh.
She knows
Oh.
how
That's what I do with
Hack.
Listen, there's a thing now. Restaurants require like outrageous, like it's not a deposit, but they charge cancellation fees,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Like,
Oh, like reservations. and
yeah, like
stuff.
hundreds of dollars if you cancel a reservation. So if you do it with a virtual card,
What's a virtual
Look at that.
card?
a lot of credit card companies let you create like a virtual card now that can only be used for in one like point of sale system. So like.
And
You
you
can
have to
set
have
it
a
up.
certain amount on it or something?
No, it's just like a virtual credit card, but they create a new number for you.
Yeah.
So you can use it maybe on like Like I use one for Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
And it can only be used for Ticketmaster. I don't know what it's actually for, but I like it if I'm like online shopping and I don't feel like getting my wallet.
How do you protect yourself if, let's say, you use this virtual card for the restaurant?
Yeah.
And then you cancel it. How do you protect yourself from them charging that virtual card a lot of money?
Well, if you delete the virtual card, it can't get charged, and there's
Oh,
nothing
so you
that
have
can
to-
be done.
you have to
So
manage
you
it
make the
yeah.
reservation, you delete the virtual card, and then whoever your credit card company is just doesn't let it go through. When they go to 5 days later, you don't show up to your reservation.
Sounds
I
like
probably
there,
shouldn't
sounds
be
like
saying
there has
any
to
of
be
this
some
because
regulations on
Yeah,
this
don't do
because
that in the North
the
End. They
Alexes
might
of the world are.
Jen Royal will come
yeah,
after you.
I know.
Absolutely.
She's
Yeah.
got a whole thing with canceling reservations.
Table's a good restaurant, though.
Yeah. I'll have to take your word for it because I'll never go there.
Pretty good.
Oh, obstinate Paul.
That's awful what she did
What?
to those people. Like banning people because of what Alex is talking about. People not showing up for a reservation and
Oh, I had no. I
like
don't
being
know.
charged outrageous amounts of money and
The
blah, blah, blah,
cancellation
blah.
fees are very extra.
Well, I think as it's a courtesy. If you make a reservation and you're not going to show up, you should call and cancel.
Agree.
They did.
Oh, and they still charge them?
And it was some kind of now I don't know if it's true because
Well-
I never me I never believed that crap that I read, but supposedly there was like a significant illness involved
So,
as to why they couldn't
That's
make
what
the
he
reservation.
said. I went down this deep dive.
Well, it doesn't matter why.
TMZ picked
Why
it
am
up.
I not surprised that Alex
That's
has all
what
the
he
details?
said, because it was like just unfolding on social media. It was so funny. I was so entertaining. But he said there was a medical emergency, but she was able to see what he physically wrote into his credit card company of why he was disputing the charge. And it was that like their train was late and they weren't going to make it to the city.
Well, so what? Like,
So I agree. I think
told
it's
you I
outrageous.
don't always believe that
I think it's
stuff when I see
outrageous.
it.
to
I don't think the
charge hundreds
restaurant
of-
should care why you're canceling. If the person cancels, they cancel.
Supposedly they did, right? They tried to cancel it, isn't that right?
I don't remember exactly the scenario.
Oh.
Her restaurant's a little different too
Talk
because
about
it's
rabbit
like
holes.
it's a prefixed menu. So it's like
they
they
get the
only
food
sell
ready.
a certain amount of seats per night, and
Yeah,
it's
so
judge
I get
choice.
that.
That I
get
do.
that.
But,
I
like,
was aware of that.
So
when
as long
I'm-
as it's upfront and transparent, if you make a reservation at this place and
Yes.
we're going to charge you, as long as it's upfront and transparent, fine.
Right. So I, personally, I would never do it because I can't guarantee you
Yeah,
that
I
I
wouldn't
can't
do
break
that
the
either.
reservation.
Yeah.
You can take the reservation.
Virtual card.
You just can't keep the reservation.
Well, now people in New York City are selling reservations too. They're reserving all these
Oh,
things and
it's-
they're selling
It's
them.
become a
Oh.
commodity.
You can't get a reservation or a tea time like anywhere outside of New York
So
City.
that's
now.
going to become a cottage industry.
It already
You have these
is.
businesses
There are
where you make-
companies.
you
There's
make all these
companies
reservations.
that are now
Oh, it's
the
awful.
middle
Why do
managers.
and the people like
This
us,
is a
Paul, we
rant.
get screwed.
It's always
This
a little
is
We
guy.
get
rant
screwed.
I
It's
always
have.
a
It's
little guy.
really. It started with golf tee times around Manhattan during the pandemic. They were getting swept up and sold, and then these middle companies are, or like these middle people, they're not even always companies, are profiting off of just being the middleman selling these tee times. It's ridiculous.
I got to pay a service fee for
It's like
a tea
Taylor
time.
Swift tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
shameful.
Oh boy.
So Drake May, huh?
Yeah, Drake May.
Starting.
Yeah.
Paul, I got a question for you. You mentioned you liked response from Alex Van Pelt today. I
Yeah,
wanted to hear you
I
expound
absolutely
upon that.
remember telling you I love that answer, but I'm gonna need you to fill me in as to why.
Well, he talked about
what
the
question was.
situational on the
Okay.
2nd and 2 on
Yeah.
the goal line last
So
week against the
I just like the
Dolphins.
fact that. So now you guys know I would have run the ball.
Yeah.
You know that this is
We've all
the
talked about that,
sequence at the end of the half we talked
Right.
about on Tuesday. They get 8 yards. The goal should have been to make sure that you get a first down and then you're going to end the possession. This possession is going to end the half with the ball. They chose to take a shot there. That's like how offense is played. Like we're going to get the first down. If we take a shot and it's not there and it's 3rd and 2, we're going to get the first down. Now, that's where I would say I highly question the 3rd down call even more so. But what I really liked about his answer was, and again, I disagreed with it. I would have gotten the first down any way I could. But he says, we're dialing up a shot there to see if we can get something going. We haven't really done a lot of downfield passing this year. And he said, we didn't win on the route, which I liked, because it's open season on Brissett. And then he came back and said on 3rd down, we had an opportunity to get the first down and we didn't go there. So he puts that a little bit more on Brissett too. And he, by the way, killed himself for with second guessing the play calls. So in one answer, he said, it's me, it's the receivers, and it's the quarterback. No, I'm being serious. Like, sort of illustrating, this is not a simple, well, if we can just fix X, like there's a lot of things wrong with the offense.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about his answer. Like, this is complicated, you
Yeah.
know, and I've made mistakes. And he actually then went back and said, I'm still killing myself over some of the decisions from the Jets game that he made as a play caller. So he's not absolving himself. That's what I liked,
Yeah.
you know, sort of acknowledging that we could do this better, I can do this better, and as a whole, we have to do this all better. That's what I liked about the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I
Cool.
mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. I was surprised. I mean, I thought it was a good answer too, but you're sometimes a tough nut to crack, and you were like, I like that answer. I was just curious.
Well, as opposed
your
to,
expectation.
you know, the defensive coordinator telling me about 2 for 11 on third down and ignoring everything else that happened wrong in the game.
Yeah.
You know, we held them to 2 for 11 on third down. Well, that's great. That's because they didn't need third downs a lot to get points.
Right.
Because their drives were all long.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially
if
that last
if it
one.
was 2 for 11 on third down and you forced 5 3 and outs, that'd be, that's good defense.
Yeah.
But there were hardly any third and outs.
Especially
3 and
on
outs.
that,
One, I think.
I think on that game-winning drive, I think after the penalty, I don't think they had another third down. It was
Right.
just run into the end zone. Yeah.
Yep. So let's talk about this game. I don't know how much in depth you got on it yesterday, but Houston
Very.
coming in, obviously.
We covered all that.
Did you?
No.
You covered Houston
No,
coming in.
no, no,
You
no,
covered
no.
that part
No,
of it.
we did not.
But you know, we're all focused on the defense because it's Drake May's first game, and they've got a top 5 defense pretty much across the board. But what are we thinking about C.J. Stroud in the offense? Their number 1 receiver is going to be out.
Yep.
So that's a help.
Yeah. Nico
But do you think, you know, sometimes teams match up well. Even bad teams match up with better teams. Is this an offense that you think, even with Jawan Bentley out and everybody, that we can possibly match up well with?
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, with Collins out, I think that, you know, it's a huge piece, and you would think that if Christian Gonzalez is able to, you know, kind of stick with Stephon Diggs and maybe limit his production. Tank Dell's been kind of disappointing coming off the knee injury. They haven't run the ball great, so I think you could see, you know, a little formula there if the Patriots are able to take advantage of a subpar run game, you know, without Joe Mixon, and Gonzalez takes away Diggs, and, you know, and
So
yeah, there could be
I
something there.
haven't watched a lot of Houston Texans games. I see the highlights of Stroud.
No.
But overall, is he a guy that you have to worry about getting out of the pocket and extending plays and burning you that way?
I mean, he can. I don't think that's what he necessarily wants to do. He's mobile, but not a huge runner.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he can get out of the pocket and do things. They had a cast of thousands that didn't practice yesterday,
Yeah.
Houston. So I don't know if these guys are all hurt.
Are they looking past us?
Obviously, I know Mixon's hurt. But
was Tunsil on that too?
Yep.
Yeah. I thought so.
I have. I can give you sort of a little bit of rundown. This isn't even everybody, I don't think, because for whatever reason I can no longer print anything anymore. But Derek Barnett, Kenyon Green, Jake Hansen, Titus Howard, Kamari Lassiter, Joe Mixon, Laramie Tunsil, Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods, all those guys didn't practice.
Bobby Trees.
Nope. So to me, Mixon is important because if you lose Nico Collins and Mixon, that's your number 1 running back, your number 1 receiver. Yeah. I think that makes the job a lot easier. Now, they still have, like, if not the number 1 ranked, it's in the top 3 ranked passing game.
Yeah.
They haven't run the ball since Mixon got hurt. So, I don't know, the other team's best running back got hurt last week, too, when you gave up 193 rushing yards. So I want to hesitate to say in the running game shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
But Houston struggles to protect Stroud. I think you got to try to get after him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been sacked 14 times.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I did my players to watch. I threw, you know, Uche in there of just, you know, he's had a little bit more production the last few games. I mean, I don't think it's been overwhelming. He's kind of been not reduced, but he's returning more to his general spot as a passing down rusher. So you think you're going to get some juice from Keon White on the inside? Can you get a little bit from Uche? And I'm really interested about Laramie Tunsil because his name came up a lot today with DeMarcus Covington, who I think he said he knows him personally. So he had a lot of nice things to say about Laramie Tunsil. So, yeah, we'll see if he's able to go.
Yeah, a lot of penalties, too, for that group. I know in the game that they played in Minnesota was a real problem. Now, Minnesota's defense has given everyone problems so far. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good offense they're facing. This will be I think they're, you know, a significant test because, you know, there's always asterisks. Like San Francisco, you know, had their guys that were hurt. they have Nico Collins and Joe Mixon are hurt. But this is a good offense. I don't think it's a great offense, though. I think that they've been just okay so far.
I think it's a good test too for C.J. Stroud. I mean, just within the the context of being a young quarterback, you want to be really one of the elite quarterbacks. Like, this is a game you should win. Like, even without your top guys, if you're going to be one of those top quarterbacks, he's coming in here. I mean, I don't know what the line is now, but I mean, they're favorites. They should be able to win. So a little bit of pressure on him without his top guys. But these are the kind of games you want to take that next step to that next level. You're no matter what injuries you have, you go on the road. I mean, this isn't an easy place to play.
And as far as overlooking Fred, I don't think they've played great.
Okay.
Like they're 4-1 with a negative point differential, which is kind of hard to do.
It is.
So they got whacked.
Close
And
games
the one,
and
the
one
one,
whack,
the one loss was 34-7 or something like that, and every win was by a score. So they're probably looking to play, put together a good game. They really haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So going back to their defense, yesterday Gerard Mayo said we're familiar with their defense.
I thought that was really interesting too.
I did too, and I'm still not quite sure exactly how he meant it. I mean, it probably would have been a good follow-up.
Is there a coaching connection? I mean, obviously Casario is, but
I mean,
he's not a coach.
It's through Seattle. I mean, I think Evan could probably expand upon this, but I think it is based out of the Pete Carroll cover 3 kind of system. I think that's the root of it, and obviously it's evolved a little bit. But I don't know if it's connected to San Francisco a little bit, and he's had some preparation going against San Francisco. Seeing that
could be. I mean, the coordinator's name is Matt Burke. I don't know his background. I don't know if he has some ties to Patriots somewhere along the line.
It's a question for Evan. I gotta ask him that. What did he mean? What did Mayo mean? Familiar.
But
especially with Drake being familiar, because I thought that's what he said. Drake he's familiar with this, right? That's kind of what he
didn't necessarily.
implied.
He said Drake is familiar with it.
No. He said we.
Yeah.
Meaning the team.
That's what I thought he said. Yeah.
Not Drake. Yeah.
How could Drake be familiar?
How could Drake be familiar with it?
No, in terms of a preparation, they're able to prepare him because they're familiar with the team, the defense.
They know what he's going to do. Yeah.
But that probably deserved a follow-up. But it was all Drake
yesterday.
yesterday.
To do everything?
I know. I guess, Fred. I mean,
Fred, we just sit in the back and we don't.
All right.
We're seen and not heard.
Podcasts at patriots.com is the email address. The TPX hotline is 855-PASS-500. We do have to hurry because today is picks. Evan will be by later. So let's get to some of those listener engagements.
Is that what they're called?
Okay. We'll start with Christian in Virginia. What's up, Christian?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I have a compliment, a statement, and then I have a question for you. My first compliment, you guys, of all the podcasts and radio shows I listen to, do a phenomenal job of using each other's names so I can tell who's talking just by recognizing voices. And it was pretty easy to memorize everyone, and I gotta say I appreciate that.
Even Evans?
Well, Evan is very distinctive voice. The deep,
hello.
You tell me you can't tell the difference between me and him, and I'm coming over the table.
That was a joke.
But I appreciate the feedback, Christian.
My statement, I think the strength, a slight strength of their offense that I'm interested to see in Sunday's game is, I think, even with Mixon out, and I think Pierce, their RB2, is coming off of a hamstring injury or something like that. But I'd say they have a pretty solid rotation, and keeping everyone fresh seems to be one of their big benefits of their running game. But I know the Bills also haven't been the best on their run defense, which also affected how they did last week. My question was, and I think you guys talked about this a little bit last week, would you like to see any journeyman come and back up Drake next year and just kind of give him some pointers, or do you think we should just stick with Mixon as
Brissett.
Milton Parton as our backup next year?
Thanks, Christian. It's a good question about next year. Like, who should be the backup next year?
Yeah, I need more info.
Yeah.
I need to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
But you're going to need arms anyway, right? I mean, they're going to have to sign at least a couple guys.
But his point is Milton the backup?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that?
No, I would.
What about keeping Brissett if he's up to that? If he's
why would he be up to that?
Why would he be? Because you thinking that he has starting.
He's going to want to do what he did this year.
I think it depends on his options.
Yeah.
When we get to that.
Yeah.
You
He'll
know?
look for an option where
if
he can
it's
compete.
all backup jobs,
Yeah, but he's
maybe.
going to look somewhere where he can compete. He can't compete for a
Right.
job here.
Yeah. But if there's no place to compete, maybe.
maybe he
You know.
stays likes it here.
Yeah, I mean that's always possible, but I find that
It's hard to give him a chance.
But I
after
do
what he
think,
put on
like,
there'll
film,
be
though.
there'll
What-
be like a Raiders next year.
What
Yeah.
about just the
You know.
overall idea of having a veteran backup?
Yeah,
for him?
I'm always a fan of that. I think it's about balance and having some experience in the room, and they've always had those guys kind of around, whether it was bringing Brian Hoyer back or, I mean it's an interesting kind of thing because.
Oh, you're still down the street.
I know he's still, we can't get rid of him. But yeah, I would be open to it.
Fourth stint, fifth stint. What would it be? Fourth?
Oh, well,
More of an off-air.
Eric's in Worcester. Hey, Eric.
Worcester.
Hey, if it's okay, I just wanted to share a really quick kind of heartwarming story. So 2 years ago, I've never been to a game, and then 2 years ago, I was supposed to go to the Christmas game against the Bengals, if you remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, my father fell really ill and had to go on the transplant list. But he ended up recovering pretty quickly in a few months, and he's doing great now.
Great.
And then, so fast forward to Tuesday, like you guys, I got the news about Drake Maye and got really excited. And actually, my girlfriend texted me, and that's how I found out. And then, not even a couple hours later, some family friends texted us saying that they couldn't go to the game, and we're going to take their tickets and go on Sunday. So, really excited. I've never been to Gillette before, so can't wait to go and hopefully see it fall out.
Yeah,
Nice.
good one to start with.
Great.
Right?
That's great.
Thanks, Eric.
I'll piggyback on that story that
Thank you.
that my in-laws are going to their first game, and they're NFL fans. They've never been to an NFL game, so we got them all set up. So they're very excited. I was like, "You're getting a great game." I mean, last year my wife and kids went to their first game, and it was the Bills game, the best game of the year, the one they won. And then I'm like, between Drake Maye starting, the red uniforms, it's going to be a cool atmosphere.
red
I think.
uniforms.
No, it's a feel.
I thought Eric was
Isn't
going to
it
say,
great?
my dad had the thing, he's recovered, he's doing great, and then they announced Drake Maye, and he had another heart attack.
Oh my God.
That's not a heartwarming story, Fred. That's a heart freezing story. I don't know.
No.
You're supposed to prevent us from saying things like
Nah,
that.
I'm only, good, Eric.
Nah, I'm only kidding.
Alex is in Fall River. No, she's right here. What's up, Alex?
Do you know Alex?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
It depends.
Probably not.
What's his last name?
My question, so I wasn't a big fan of the hiring process that Kraft went through to get Mayo. I understand that it is what it is at this point. But my best case scenario for this year is that Drake Maye plays amazing and shows out while the team still struggles, and a coach like Ben Johnson possibly can come over here. Do you guys think that's a possibility, or do you guys think that Kraft is
Comes over here as the head coach?
Mayo for the,
You mean as the head? Okay. I don't think
do
that's
not
a
think
possibility.
that's a possibility.
No.
It's just hard to resign
Thanks,
how Drake Maye would light it up, but then you're going to fire the offensive coordinator.
Oh no, Ben Johnson's not coming here.
No,
as
he
an offensive
said
coordinator.
coming over
So-
here as the head coach.
Or the head coach. Like,
Yeah,
if Drake Maye lights it up, I think Maye's.
To me, the
Mayo's
only
here.
way that Gerard Mayo will not be the coach next year is either one of two. Either he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, or there's some kind of scandal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be because they go 2-15.
No.
I don't think.
No.
No.
You know? So I think you got to give a guy a chance to install, a rebuild
And just
work
with
on it.
injuries and everything like that he's been riddled with this first year, like it's just unfair. I don't think you can even.
Well,
I'm just going to tell you right now, next
There
year.
will always be injuries, but like this, look at our captain core.
will be
Like
the-
this is
it
a
will
little.
Be, I'm just
extra,
telling
though.
you, it will be the same because every team is
Oh.
dealing with it.
I think that I don't know.
The
about
only
that.
the only
I
thing
think it's a little
the only thing
unfair
that
to
not every
judge
team
this
is dealing
first
with
year
is
for
Christian
Gerard.
Barmore. That's the only one. Everybody else has got Matt Milano's. That everybody's
But I
missing
think-
the heart.
But
and soul
4
of
out
their
of 5
team.
captains.
Five
That's
captains.
pretty. I mean, that's like
That's
the
just
only
a
guys
couple.
you really
No, but
have.
I'm not
about-
talking about captains. I'm talking about key players.
No, but
every team is dealing
Think
with
about
it.
the uphill challenge, okay? First of all, you're coming in after Belichick, and regardless of what has
You're
happened over
already
the last
uphill
4
battle.
years, you're coming up against a legend.
Yep.
You're coming onto a team that has had 20 years of Super Bowls, and most of the people that are calling this show, that's all they know. So there's that expectation. Then you're coming onto a team with an offensive coordinator who's never been that, a defensive coordinator who's never been that, a third overall pick who, you got to get him in there to see. I mean, like, It's a lot for a first-time head coach. I'm sorry.
And this is where I'm 1,000%.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the injuries have been enormous.
Forget about
like,
it. Yeah,
they're
that's
important
the
guys.
NFL.
But that's like literally every team, not every team, but 25 teams are dealing with something similar.
Right.
You know, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco. Like just one off the very top of my head for a team that's 5-0. The difference is for the Patriots, it's far more impactful because losing Kyle Duggar and Jabrill Peppers and Jawan Bentley is like way more damaging to a team that is not as talented.
Yeah. Right.
That's where the difference is. But in terms of, you know, Christian McCaffrey, I mean, look at what San Francisco went through in the first month.
Right.
You know, Kittle, Samuel, McCaffrey.
Yep.
Like, these guys were all out.
Yeah.
You know, for periods of time. Everybody's dealing with that, but for the Patriots, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Because of they don't have as much to fall back on.
I
don't know how you could get rid of
This is
like,
Jules,
I really,
everyone. Say hello.
Jules.
We love Jules.
I don't know how you could possibly think about getting rid of Gerard Mayo based on
That's what I'm
everything.
saying.
Like the totality. Like
No.
what Fred said. Like it's year one basically of his rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say generally any team that hires a coach and has to switch 1 year in, you did something
It's
way
not because
wrong
of football
right.
in general. Like Carolina last year with Frank Reich. Frank Reich has this whole thing. I didn't want Bryce Young. You made me take Bryce Young. I didn't need this guy. So there's a philosophical butting of heads. That's how you get fired in year one.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I don't know, maybe something like that is behind the scenes with Gerard Mayo and Robert Kraft. I don't think that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that, like, it's not because Carolina stunk last year that Frank Reich got fired. It's because it was kind of insubordinate. Like, okay, I get it. You don't want him. Coach him. He's the guy.
Right.
And he didn't want to coach him.
Once he's here, get on board.
You know?
All right. My food's here. So
king
before
is
I
ready
make a
to eat.
mess and drop everything on the floor, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have calls, we have emails. Evan will be coming. Picks are going to happen later, so we have to hurry. We'll be right back. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Good afternoon. Room's pretty packed. Just to start off, on Jabrill, I just want to be clear that really any act of domestic violence is unacceptable for us. As a team, no matter if you're a player, staff member, we're wholeheartedly against any type of domestic violence. I know the organization's position, which I fully support. With that being said, I do think that, Jabrill, has to go through the system, has to continue to go through a due process, and we'll see how that works out. What I will say is that the league has put him on the exempt list, and that will give us time to really gather more information going forward. At this time, he is not in the building. And we'll talk about that at a later time. That's the last thing I want to say about Jabrill and his situation at this time. So moving on. I would also say, I'm trying to say one more thing. Sorry, I did say I was finished. As a father of 3 daughters, I definitely understand the seriousness of the allegations, and hopefully they're not true. But we'll see. Like I said earlier, we'll go through that due process.
You said he's not in the building today. I think on the commissioner's exempt list, he's allowed to be with the team. Do you anticipate keeping him away or allowing him back at some point?
I would say, as you know, in the near term, he will not be in the building.
Gerard, could you discuss your decision at quarterback and how you came to that decision?
Yeah, you know, I thought Jacoby, and we say it all the time that it's all about competition, every single position. I would say as a coach, and I know the organization feels this way, we're trying to win every game. And at the time, we thought that Jacoby will give us the best opportunity to go out there and win games, protecting the football, really running the offense. With that being said, he was a warrior. As you guys know, he had, he's taken a lot of hits and just kept getting up. And I would also say, for a guy like that to be voted as a captain in this situation and continue to be very supportive of Drake Maye, I tip my hat to Jacoby for having that ego-less mentality. Going forward, I think now, Drake gives us the best chance to win now and going forward. He's been he's been getting better every single week. As I said before, at the end of training camp, he actually was trending, at a very high rate. And that has continued through the early part of the season. And so, it was solely my decision to make this choice. I had a conversation one-on-one with Jacoby. I had a conversation with Drake. We're all on board. And I would also say, Jacoby's a warrior, and he took the news very well, like a professional, like you would expect from a guy like that. So,
Gerard, you said Drake is getting better. Now, there are two things. There's physical and there's mental. Can you talk about, if you talk to Drake about his football acumen, has that improved from training camp to the beginning part of the season, which gives you more comfort in putting him in at this particular point in time?
I would say, Drake's a smart guy, and we saw that throughout the draft process. As far as, understanding the offense and the language and just his overall football IQ, I think that continues to improve. And I was actually pleasantly surprised, even when he got here. It was never a question, was he smart? But I was pleasantly surprised just, his work ethic out of this world and, studying the playbook and trying to get those reps. And he continues to get better each and every day. Physically, look, this guy definitely gives us a chance to, kind of get some of those off-schedule plays that you guys always see on TV.
My decision. Does that mean that you kind of went to Alexander and said, we're making a change, deal with it? Or how did the process work?
No, that's a great question. What I would say is, so I met with all the offensive coaches, and we had a conversation. Then we met together, AVP and myself, and he was fully on board. And once again, it goes back to who gives us the best chance to win this week.
So was that prior to the decision being made, or did you say, Alex, we're close here, or had you had conversations leading up to the ultimate decision being made? We're close here, we might have to make this move?
Well, during training camp, at the end of training camp, we had those discussions on almost a daily basis. What do we want to do to open the season? And I would also say as the season continued to progress, we won the first game, and then the second game was a tight one. Then obviously you guys know what happened along the way. It wasn't a conversation where I was like, Alex, we're close. For him as an offensive coordinator, for all the coordinators, they have to prepare to go out here and win the game. And so having those conversations during the regular season on a let's say a weekly basis is really unrealistic. Now, with that being said, we had the conversation. He agreed with the move. And, it's hard. It's a hard move. One thing I have learned about quarterbacks is a little different than any other position. So what I would say is, we had the conversation and both agreed that this was the right way.
When did you decide this decision was?
I told the team this morning. Look, these guys are on social media and all that stuff as well. And like I said, we had a conversation with Jacoby and Drake the night prior. But I told the team this morning, in the same way that the full weight of the organization was behind Jacoby at the time, I expect the same thing, the full weight of the organization to be behind Drake no matter what.
Did you have this date in mind for Drake Maye's debut as a starter, Gerard, or was the plan that you talked to us so much about, was that at all expedited?
Look, I don't think it's a secret. Our offense hasn't been performing the way that we all hoped it would. And so, to answer your question, ask the question again. I want to make sure I say this right.
Was the plan expedited, or
no? I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say the plan was expedited. Like, again, the end of training camp, he was trending up, and that never slowed down. So at this point, he gives us the best chance to win.
A lot of people are saying that maybe the team around him isn't ideal for Drake with the offensive line and the state of the offense right now. What do you say?
I mean, look, every team, even this early in the season, is still trying to figure out like who they have and what they are as an organization, their identity. But I would say, look, we're good with Drake. Every team doesn't have let's say a one receiver or one running back. They don't have those kind of things. But I would say that Drake is going to make us a better football team today and going forward.
Just following up on Phil's question for a moment, as far as the why you decided now. You had the Dolphins last week. You have next week the Jaguars, and the Texans are one of the toughest teams in the league. Was there any consideration given to the opponent?
I would say there's never a perfect time to make a change. Every defense that we play, whether it's the defensive ends or the defensive tackles, they all have the ability to rush and get after the quarterback. So I don't think there's ever a perfect time. What I will say is this defense is there's some, we're familiar with the defense. And we've seen it, and he's prepared for this defense as if he was the starter. And I just felt like this was the right time to do it.
Organizationally, was everyone on board, meaning Elliott and so on?
Elliott and ownership, all of us were on board with the change. Not at all. And I expressed that to Jacoby in our one-on-one that, his leadership was not just what he did on the field, but also off the field. And my expectation, and he agreed, was that he would continue to be a leader on our football team.
You did a story talking about Elliott before the season. Elliott said to him, we don't want to be in a situation where we're putting Drake Maye in, things don't go well, we don't like it, we're bringing him back out. With that said, is this a for good type situation? Like he's in there for good, and who's the backup?
Look, right now, Drake Maye is our starter today and going forward. And Jacoby's our backup quarterback.
Do you expect Drake to get like 100% of the snaps? How do you expect that to work?
He'll get most of the snaps.
Were you disappointed at all? Were you disappointed at all that the news came out before you talked to the team?
A little bit. Like any type of decision that's a big decision, you want to let the team know first. But in saying that, look, these guys, they read everything, and it's fine.
Where have you seen Drake's biggest growth this season over the last 5 weeks?
Just, operating the huddle. I think it starts right there. Getting the call, getting in the huddle, getting out of the huddle, and going out there executing the play.
How much, if at all, do you anticipate the offense changing with Drake in quarterback?
I mean, it's hard to put a percentage on, how much the offense will change. What I will say is, like, we have core concepts that all the quarterbacks have to know how to go out there and execute. With that being said, his athleticism definitely opens up more plays.
You said you talked to the quarterbacks the night prior. Was it last night or Monday night?
I talked to him last night.
Because it was already out on social media. They would have found out.
Well, some of that stuff was assumption.
If you could just give from your perspective, from where he was to where you are now, going into this game, what do you like about Drake Maye as your starting quarterback?
I would just say first, you can start with his arm and just his overall athleticism. Perfect. Thank you.
And now, great moments in history.
Does that make any sense? I think the Patriots almost stole one.
Yeah.
They were in position to steal the game.
Okay.
They're on the 25-yard
like
line,
that.
up 3 with, 5 minutes left.
I like
You
that.
gotta put that
I
game
like
away.
that.
Well, they were.
That's better for me.
I would say that they were better
Take
on
me to the
paper,
hill. I know.
but when you drop the ball 5-6 times, does that make you the better team?
Yeah, it means you were better. You just didn't execute.
So when you drop the ball, it makes you better?
Yeah, I mean, these guys just told you how open these guys were. You were lucky
No,
to
I know,
only
but if
give
you
up
drop the
23.
ball, you drop the ball. That's a lack of execution.
Right.
He would have
That
thrown for
doesn't-
400
you know.
yards.
You're
in
better.
this
You're
game
more
if he-
talented
but he
than the
caught
other team.
ball.
Yes. You did what you wanted to do more than they did what they wanted
Well,
to do.
I think they wanted to catch the ball.
Did you ever see anybody so maddening as this?
Right?
Like,
Right, I know
they
that.
wanted
I
to make the
just
field
enjoy
goal
it.
too, Fred, but the other guy blocked it. That's
Right.
that's bad execution.
Exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
what are we doing?
That's another great moment from
All right, 855-PASS-500 is the TPX hotline. Podcasts at patriots.com is the email address. It's Paul, it's Evan. He'll be
yet.
here soon. Deuce, Alex, myself, Jules in the booth with Matt over her shoulder. I have to hurry because it is picks. We're going to get to that. But Dylan writes in, he says, why is everyone acting like we're sending Drake Maye to war?
Right. Thank you, Dylan.
It's an NFL game, not a tickle match. There's an injury risk for every player on either side. Do we get a weekly update from that guy who has no idea how percentages work? Who's he talking about? I don't know.
I think I know who he's talking about. But
anyway, go Patriots. Vidarian Lowe was the highest graded offensive lineman last week, according to PFF. Did we bully him into being a good left tackle?
I've seen a couple variations of this, of like, he's a 6'4", 225-pound human being. Like, he'll be okay. But I get it. I mean, I think part of it, too, is that right now you can live in fantasy land with Drake Maye. Like, and it's the same thing it was with, like, Mayo and Wolf before the season started. Like, nothing had really happened yet. There have been no, controversies to deal with or anything like that. And now it's like, all right, you're going to see Maye now. There might be some warts. There might be some good things, and all of a sudden he's now going to start to, have storylines about him and things that you have to talk about. And, very well next week we might be talking about, man, he doesn't really feel it in the pocket. Like those sacks were his fault, like that, like those kind of conversations are going to start to happen next week when you really put him under the microscope, which is inevitably what happens when a quarterback has to play a game.
All right. My email has frozen up, so we'll get to the calls.
I go ahead. I was going to vamp for you.
You're going to vamp? No, we have calls.
Know me.
Yep.
I can clear my throat at any time.
Josh is in Dallas. What's up, Josh?
Hey everyone, I know it's Thursday, so we really got to hurry. I have two quick laments that lead to a question. The first is that it was tough to watch the corpse of Juju Smith-Schuster's knee go for 130 yards on Monday night. The second is on Sunday at noon when I was checking some of the scores, 6 of the 12 teams that played had over 30 points. And so I was just curious the last time the Patriots scored 30 or more, and it was actually 2 years ago this week, week 6, was the last time they had 30 or more points. And that leads me to my question, which I think we can all agree that the rebuild can be expedited based on how Maye is as a quarterback. And so for the sake of the argument, let's say he's like a good NFL quarterback like a Herbert. Even then, to me as a fan, it still feels like there's so many holes on both sides of the ball that they won't be competitive right away. And so I was just curious how many draft cycles and how many free agency classes you think they are away from truly competing. Hopefully, in an ideal world, with him getting some experience this year, by the end of next year and into year 3 is when they really take off.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys.
Listen, I was listening to one of our guys, Andy Hart, and I kind of agree. If you do things right, and of course it all starts with Maye playing well, but if Maye is a good quarterback, if you do things right and you draft well, you can turn this around in a year or two. I mean, I don't mean you're up there with the elite teams, but you're now a competitive team that competing for a winning record. You can do this fairly quickly, but you got to do it right. You got to hit on your picks, and you got to get at least a couple free agents in here, that really contribute.
They should be able to.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the NFL allows you to rebuild faster than most other leagues because it's a blessing and a curse. It's so reliant on the quarterback. Houston was a terrible football team, and you got a good quarterback, and all of a sudden you became a playoff team in 1 year.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people now are revisionist and telling you how much talent Houston had and that Stroud inherited. That's garbage. It was a terrible team. He made those guys better players.
Right.
He made Nico Collins look better than he had been previously. Part of that is Nico Collins is developing.
Yeah.
But the bigger chunk to me goes to Stroud. And if Drake Maye is really good, if he's Herbert level, as Josh sort of compared, you can get good right away.
Yeah.
Now
next year you can be a good team.
Now the other piece of that puzzle that I think is really important is coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching has to be good too.
Yeah.
So
the Texans went through a couple, and I remember before that draft, before they took Stroud and Anderson, being like, this is it for Nick Caserio. Like, if these picks don't hit and hit quick, he might have been out. I'm also just so jealous of Nico Collins, like to be able to develop that kind of player in house and to see him take those strides. It's just, I get so sick of we have to go out and steal someone else's number one who's already had 4 great years, and we've got to pay him a ton. And now you're getting the guy that already feels like he's the guy. and there's just something really appealing to me about developing it internally. And,
Sure.
and you feel like the connection grew from, it was organic. It didn't.
Jared
and
Durant.
Diggs is a nice piece to, to complement that and
Yeah.
to put him over the top, but it didn't feel like they had to have Diggs to make, like they already kind of had a guy. So, I mean, I know Nico Collins was, what round was he drafted? I mean, he's, it's
I think he's like a third round
out of
pick,
nowhere,
isn't he?
not crazy like a 7th round pick.
But that's what I'm
just
saying.
doesn't
Like,
happen
it doesn't even have to be like all these people are like,
Oh,
should you take Travis Hunter
Yeah.
with a top 5 pick? And I'm like, I'm as anti-offensive line as anyone could possibly be, but I don't know how you don't take a left tackle.
Yeah.
If you have a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of receivers that are just kind of all there. Like I think everyone gets carried away with the number one. We need the number one, but like I just want speed. Like I want speed on the outside. That's what I feel like they need. And if you're chasing the number one, it's one thing. But if you're looking to put a guy to complement what you're kind of growing right now, I mean, we talked a little yesterday about the tight end position, and Hunter Henry, great, reliable. Not a big run after catch kind of guy, but it's another position where you can start to push the offense up the pegs with a guy who can run and can threaten the seam a little bit. And there's something sexy to me about doing it in house and drafting the guys and having the contracts and developing them.
I don't even care. I just want one. Like I totally get your point, but I'll take anything. I want a bigger outside threat. I know that a lot of people think that's overrated. I don't. I think that kind of allows a lot of stuff to fall into place if you have a really, really significant threat at that X, Mike.
Yeah.
That you and I hate so much.
No.
I think I just think it's important. He's a big, fast guy on the outside that requires the other team's attention.
I want someone who is responsible for points every week. Because this person's on our team, that's 7 points we didn't have.
Yeah. I think the extreme example is Randy Moss in 06, where the first couple
I
years
didn't care that they didn't draft and develop
No,
him.
you're working with Deion Branch and David Givens, and and I mean 06 was a huge struggle, and then it just shows you what stratosphere the offense went to when and that's a unique example. Randy Moss, a Hall of Fame, unicorn.
No, but it's a really good example, Mike, because like my shows, my guy will tell you, well, you don't win anything with those guys. Okay.
No.
All right. I mean, I'll take your word for it again, because down here, when you look at the fine print, they lost the Super Bowl.
Right.
And went 18-1 instead of 19-0. Oh, I guess that's because you had an X.
And they came
on
one helmet away from having a perfect season.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm sorry if I want to look and give a little nuance to what actually happened and why. And I'm sorry if I don't blame Randy Moss for the reason why the Patriots fell, one drive short of perfection.
Alex in North Carolina. A lot of Alexes today.
Defense couldn't get a stop.
And the offensive line didn't play great, right?
So glad Drake is finally getting to play and will be our starter from here on out. Much like the panel, I don't understand why on earth so many people are jumping to crazy extremes. From the caller yesterday saying we need to draft a whole new line to people being so scared of Drake getting hurt and saying this is the 1 week he shouldn't be starting. This is a classic case that you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. This podcast has been by far the most level-headed and reasonable group about Drake Maye starting, and I appreciate the sanity you bring us.
Amen.
Patriots 21-20. Drake Maye puts the team on his back and begins the road to glory. Okay.
All of a sudden, I don't feel sane.
Who would you give more of a chance to? The Patriots playing Buffalo here last year with Mac Jones, or the Patriots playing Houston this year with Drake Maye in his first start? I wouldn't have given them really much.
I wouldn't have given them much of a shot either way, but last year.
Yeah.
Michael writes in. He's from Florida. I hope everything's okay down there. Very excited for Drake's debut. People keep bringing up Mac, but Drake and Mac are nothing alike. Mac had everything handed to him at Alabama, 5-star receivers everywhere, and an NFL offensive line. The kid never faced adversity, and the second it got tough here, he crumbled. Drake, on the other hand, didn't have top talent around him, didn't go to a football powerhouse, and still shone through and never made excuses. I don't think Drake is going to throw his toys out with the pram if things get tough.
We'll see. I mean,
what's the pram?
Can anybody?
I don't know what that is, but I think it's like baby with the bathwater, maybe.
Well, it's the same thing, but I don't know what a prom is in this case.
Prom.
I don't know what we have Alex on the show if she's not going to translate this crap for us.
I've never heard that one. It's
a lot
new
of people asking us to turn Mike's mic up. So.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Well, maybe if you just stop whispering, you'd be able to hear him.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Drake Maye's going to react to anything. I mean, I assume it's not going to be like, we saw some of Max pouting and stuff, but That's why you have to make the leap and see what this kid is and see what his story's going to be.
I agree with the premise. I agree with the premise of the email. I do think that Mac, I mean, I'll stop short of saying like he had everything. I mean, he had to wait 5 years to play, you know, at Alabama. But he did have more talent around him, and you know, went undefeated and it was kind of easy. He never really faced any adversity. I agree.
Perfect controlled
with the
situation.
Email. Yeah. You know, and when it went bad here, you know, whether it was his fault or Belichick's fault, he didn't handle it well.
Yeah.
And I think Maye has more experience sort of dealing with the ups and downs of football.
Well, last year, I mean, I think a point that a lot of people brought up online was that how much pressure Drake Maye was under last year and the drop-off last year and how probably connected to some of the pressure. So, you know, he's no stranger to getting...
And losing some of his personnel. You know, Josh Downs leaves, and, you know, it's hard. You can't just automatically replace all those guys.
Let's see. Lots of emails. I appreciate all of that. AJ in the Bay Area. Before the regular season, I leaned toward letting Jacoby start and making the transition early enough for Maye to get some solid experience. I kind of preferred to see how the team looked as a whole to get a sense of who they are without Maye. Do you guys think that we've seen enough to see what this team is without Maye, or do you feel it could still improve a little without him? No, I'm ready. Like, I did make that case after it was clear that he wasn't going to be there in week one. It's like, okay, let's see what the offense looks without him.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do without him and what we're going to be putting him into. You know, like, know the situation.
Yeah,
and
I remember when you said that.
Yeah, and I'm good now. Like, I know what this offense can't do for sure. And I know that if Maye is what we think he is, he'll be able to do things to help the offense, and it will look better.
I hope so. I hope those just offset the things that he does, that inexperience, and to hurt the offense, which I'm expecting there will be some of those too.
You know what I hope? That if it looks better, it's not just because of his athleticism that it looks better. Like, I'd like to see it conventionally.
Yeah.
Like, I like to see him operate from the pocket and just he's a better passer than Jacoby Brissett, which I think he is. But, you know, like, I know he can do what he did, like, against the Jets on 4th and 10 or whatever it was, and scramble and get around.
Well, the blue light's on.
The blue light is on, and the
We're
man
looking
is
at
in.
Mike's.
It's different light.
You host.
You do you.
Just turn it off and on.
Turn it off and on really quick.
Okay.
Just reboot it.
Yeah, it's not that his mic was low. People
It
are
was
hearing
off.
him through our mics.
Oh, okay.
So he was not getting the.
So yeah, like my point, and I think Mike is getting it, is I know that Drake Maye can scramble out of the pocket and, you know, take a bad situation and run 15 yards for a first down, and I want that, you know, as part of his skill set, no question. But I'd like to see it just be conventional offense that he looks better operating it than Brissett did, because I think that in the long run is going to help his development the most.
Warren, who from UK Patriots,
Yeah,
one of our
he'll
fan
be with
club
you
members.
in a week.
He says a pram is like a pushchair what a kid sleeps in.
Oh, like
You're the one that has
like a
kids and you're
stroller.
mad that I don't.
Well, I never called it a pram.
Yeah,
but you know
Nate from
stuff.
Chicago says it's a stroller.
I would take it as a compliment. I think you're smarter than I am.
I know.
It's a
I
low
know
bar.
a little about a lot, but I
It's
guess that's
definitely a
one
low
of my-
bar, but you are smarter than I am. All I know is sports.
This person hates the pick segments, wants us to stop the pick segments. Okay. Well, other
Right,
people
listen,
like them.
We have 6 hours during the week, and we indulge ourselves with a half hour with maybe we're the only ones that like it. I don't know. I enjoy the pick segment.
Let's get back to the TPX hotline. Melvin's in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
Sweet kid.
Sweet
Okay,
kid.
what's going on?
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, I just talked about it a little bit, but I know he's not playing this week, but Nico Collins himself, I initially thought, like, of course, a lot of that credit was given to Stroud, but this next year, this second year, I've been able to watch him a little bit more. He does have a lot of ability, you know, to run after catch.
Oh, yeah.
and with
He's really good.
Yeah, his contested ball. So I know, Paul, you mentioned it initially because I was right with you, but now do you swing a little bit more towards his ability to, or give a little bit more credit to the receiver itself, or are you still?
Oh, no. I think Nico Collins is really good, but I don't think he'd look that good if he didn't have a great quarterback throwing him the ball. Like, I think both things can be true. I think Nico Collins is a young guy that's developed, but he played a couple of years and didn't look like anything like this. Didn't look anything like he did last year in the first 2 years. So I think he's a really good player, But I think C.J. Stroud is one of the best quarterbacks in football already. I mean, I think that much of him.
Yeah. Do you think we have anything close to that? I know I don't want to be relying too much on Bourne. I'm ready for somebody else to kind of like. I'm hoping that, of course, we get a young quarterback and that we have some type of receiver that we can develop and it really works out like that. But you all think we have any type of receiver that's in that range that can develop?
Mike, I don't.
How do you know? I mean, you're hoping that Polk and Pop and those guys continue to progress and that they look a little bit more productive with Maye. I guess that's those.
Yeah, I don't see that kind of skill set. I don't see anybody with size, speed, strength like Nico Collins.
Thanks, Melvin.
No,
isn't he like 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they physically don't have anybody with that.
He was just
that
one
profile.
like maybe the reason I kind of have a crush on him is just I remember in the preseason
When he ran over Gonzo.
Yeah, just just impressed with all of a sudden like who's this beast out there that's really playing hard, and it's a tough loss for him, but a great great drafting by Caserio. Give him credit.
I actually think too it's a really good move. It's kind of a mature move by a team that's just starting to get good.
Yeah,
like it's a hamstring.
Win the war, not don't try to win the battle.
Let's take it away from him. We're gonna make him sit out 4 weeks. We're just gonna put him on IR.
Yeah.
So there's no temptation if it doesn't go great. If they get upset this week in New England, there's no panic that we got to get Nico Collins back out. Did you see with the offense?
Yeah.
Covington shut down the Texans. We got to get Nico Collins back. No.
Yeah.
Win the season, not the week.
We were talking about why maybe the Patriots are familiar with the Houston defense, and we'll talk to Evan about that when he gets here. But Jay in Arkansas says that Texans defensive coordinator has an interesting connection. He's a Hudson, Mass native. He was the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins under Vance Joseph around 2017, 2018. So, maybe.
He's a Hudson Hawk.
Yeah, I don't know what that would have anything to do with why the Patriots are familiar with the defense.
Yeah.
Well,
that's Kevin.
We'll see when Evan comes in.
Evan will know.
Let's go back to the TPX hotline. T is in Virginia. What's up, T?
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, T. People call you Ice T?
That's fine. Hey, I'm actually a second-time caller. My first time
You're
was
the first.
When Paul got his ticket in Virginia. But I've got two questions for you all. Two questions. First question is, I think I heard that Jacoby Brissett hasn't thrown for over 200 yards this season. Do you think that Drake Maye will throw for over 200 yards in his first game?
Yes.
And then the second.
I do not.
No? And
Through no fault of his.
Question is Jacoby Brissett still a team captain? And if so, do you believe he should still be a team captain?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think, T?
I think he's the epitome of a captain, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he should still be a captain.
Yep.
He's a great leader.
Yeah, and what about throwing for over 200 yards? What do you think?
Oh yeah, all day. I think we come out and empty and let Drake shake the nerves off the rip. Start throwing to the run.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, T. All right. Thanks for the call.
Does the shirt come off, Fred, if over 200? Or what are the parameters for shirt off?
If he wins this game and plays really well, the shirt comes off.
All right. Well,
Didn't you all agree yesterday?
I mean, I'm not taking my shirt off.
I don't take my shirt
That'd be scary for everybody.
Well, it's supposed to be scary. You're supposed to shock the world.
Yeah.
What do you do though? Do you take it off? Do you rally towel it?
You
just throw it at one of these Texans reporters.
You're running
a 10 on your belly. Just
you're
in
running
case.
through the press box, waving it in the air. Absolutely. You run right out.
Just be careful of the candy.
Right
machine.
out into the concourse.
Like that candy machine.
I guess if the game is close, I don't have a lot of faith in that. Like if they, like Jacoby piled up, a lot of yards in those last two drives the other day. And I could see maybe that happening in the fourth quarter. Maybe they're behind by a couple of scores and you get over 200 yards that way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Chad in Atlanta
Did you
says
say sure or something else?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. It's close.
Chad in Atlanta
Cross
says,
the line.
"Here he comes to save the day." Know what that's from?
I do, but
no.
I'm looking at Alex.
No?
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse. Did you watch your
The
cartoons?
cartoons.
She's like, what?
No. Anyway, Chad says, I'm excited
my
and nervous
stories,
for the
by the
kid,
way.
but I'm so relieved to be turning the page. Curious to know if you think this was the plan all along or that they kind of had to improvise due to how bad the team has looked and how poor the QB play has been.
I have a take that I think they wanted to play him maybe last week, and maybe David Andrews going down made them put a pause on it, push it back a week. I don't know.
That could be.
I don't think they had a week in mind.
Yeah.
I think it was about
Yeah.
Drake Maye.
Yeah.
When they felt like Drake Maye was ready.
No, but I think-
could see that if they
Yeah.
wanted to do
I
it
think
last
after
week.
the San
I
Francisco
wrote that
game,
last week.
I think, I don't know, maybe David Andrews went down and they looked at Miami as a game maybe they could still win without having to make that change and just let that be the final nail in the
Think you might
coffin,
be
and it
onto
was.
something.
But I haven't really heard that floated around yet, but it was just something I was
It's
thinking
plausible.
over the week.
Yeah, I just feel like the plan was to wait until they felt like Drake Maye was ready. I don't think I think a lot of people are like, is the plan expedited? Is
No,
the
but I
plan-
think
you know,
to Alex's point, they might have thought he was ready last week.
Oh, yeah,
but
no.
because Andrews went out, let's
Right,
just see
it
how
ch- yeah,
Jacob
you
did
know.
No, I think
at
that
center.
there's
'Cause that's a
chances.
huge
I
piece
wrote
to
that, I
lose
wrote
when you
that in
already
the
have
notes
O-line.
last week.
Yeah.
That I would, because I've been wanting Maye to start, but then I was like, maybe not the first week of a new center.
Yeah.
Maybe we wait.
That's
but
why I think it changed a
I
little.
just like there's been a lot of talk about has the plan been adjusted, or why are they panicking? And I don't really. I mean, maybe I'm being naive. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I think that the offense has struggled, and certainly if the offense wasn't struggling, you're going to give Brissett more of a leash. But with the offense struggling, I think it still would be, if they didn't feel like Drake Maye was at all ready, I think Brissett would still be starting. Struggle or no.
Travis is in West Virginia. Speaking of Peyton Manning, he says, how do you feel about the King's Hawaiian rolls? I can't get into them. I don't want my bread or my pizza crust to be sweet. Evan probably loves them. He has horrible taste in food. I like King's Hawaiian. It's good.
Depends on the meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
Pulled
think
pork
Like some
sandwich.
barbecue, yes.
Easter. We used to have those
100%.
buns on Easter. I think
You guys
that
like
was
potato bread?
Yes.
I do too.
Love Martin's potato rolls.
Yeah. Sure.
Sorry if they're not a
Oh, yeah.
sponsor, but
I
or
like
they're
light
conflicting,
bread.
but-
I don't like the heavy, thick,
Yeah.
dense bread.
Yeah.
I like light bread. Like to me, the
think I've
bread
ever
should just
given it
hold
this
the
amount of
sandwich
thought.
together.
Yeah.
It shouldn't dominate.
But
You
you
know?
feel like the bread is the most important part of a good sandwich? Like sometimes.
No, I disagree with that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly.
It's a fine
Fred's
line.
gonna
There
fight you
can't. It can't be too bready. It has to be structured enough.
It
to
can
hold
ruin it
up.
though.
Yeah.
It can ruin
Yeah.
a sandwich. You know, sometimes you get the bread and it just falls apart.
Mhm.
Oh,
Or it's stale.
yeah.
Jersey Mike's, we're still available. Come on.
Ah, boy, a lot of emails.
Sometimes you get those subs from, like, you get like an Italian place,
Mm.
Italian deli or something, and sometimes the bread is really good, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah, sure.
And I have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with my false tooth. You know.
Simon in Dublin.
That's an issue.
Love the show. Very excited to see Maye get his first start at the weekend. Question for Evan after yesterday's show. For someone who has never played football before, could you explain the differences for a quarterback between taking snaps under center, in pistol, or in shotgun? To the less knowledgeable, it doesn't seem like there would be too much of a difference, but clearly there is.
Well, I think the biggest thing is turning your back on the defense when you're under center. You know, that's
Pistol and shotgun are the same thing, by
Yeah.
the way. It's just a
Yeah.
formation.
But I think
you're back receiving the
Yeah,
snap.
I mean, I think there's some nuance to the footwork. Obviously, receiving the snap, it's not just kind of popping out to you, but having to turn your back on the defense and then spin back around, play action, those kind of plays,
Yeah.
like it's a lot easier.
And
to
physically
just,
handling the snap, if you
Yeah.
haven't done it, can be a little bit of an adjustment. And
Yeah.
I don't think that Drake May's done a lot of that.
No, and we saw a lot of drills this summer. Specific, I mean, every pretty much every practice drilling those kind of mechanics with your footwork of getting out from under center, hitting that back foot and being able to get the ball out. But it's a lot easier when you're shotgun, pistol, and you're
Yeah.
just staring at the defense. The ball pops out, but that also some disadvantage comes with that too because you have an under center running game and all that kind of
I
stuff.
used to laugh at the exchange, like Bill, when Bill used to be sarcastic, we're just trying to get the quarterback center exchange down.
Yeah.
Like, and as a dinosaur who, like, I didn't operate out of the shotgun when I played 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I've taken snaps under center since I was like 8 years old. Like, I can't conceive of that being a difficult thing to do.
Well, how
But
did you feel?
these kids have never done it,
Yeah.
and I've completely changed
I
my
mean,
thought.
some of these kids might
They've
be
never done it.
uncomfortable putting their hands underneath another man's
No,
body.
not Paul.
never-
He was doing it at 8 years old.
Never,
Just stick it right
never
up there.
bothered me.
No,
Never
Right in the
bothered me.
crack.
Some of my best friends, I had my hands under there, right up there.
Yeah.
You remember it.
Yeah.
You remember
Steven DeSantis.
it. Nice and warm.
He was excellent.
Yeah.
Right, Beef? Just in case he's listening. Steven DeSantis.
Oh, no, why'd you call him?
Keep up.
Why'd you call him
like
Beaver?
leave it
His
to
nickname was Beaver.
Why?
Do you want to share why? Or?
No.
That doesn't sound like a derivative of Steve.
And he was 8.
It can get a little uncomfortable. I mean, it's Tom Brady famously made a certain quarterback have a towel to wipe himself.
Yeah,
because he was a big sweater.
Sweaty butt.
And he just didn't like that.
John Shenna. I'm going to shout out all my centers over the years. Just real solid.
I mean, you could even today you could get up with those guys. They'd bend over. You put the hand right. You're like, up, John.
I'm sure
I know.
I could do it.
Good.
Well,
Sure,
some
I
of the
could do it.
quarterbacks, like when they come in, they boom, they get that hand so the center knows that my hand's here now, and they really give him that
Well,
big
you're supposed to
back
do
of
that.
the hand.
You
tap.
give it the tap.
Right.
Backhand tap.
One thing I thought was
Men are so
interesting,
weird.
bringing up Bill again, was Billy O. Actually, it was Billy O. on Edelman's podcast, and he said, well, I think when he first interviewed with Bill to work here, Bill's part was show me how you teach the snap, like show me how you teach the under center snap. That's the kind of things that Bill would do. So it's I thought that was interesting.
little things.
Thumbs together.
Thumbs together.
Yeah.
Hands wide. Why are you looking at me like that?
It's
I
just
can
funny.
go home. I can go home and get that look,
I'm
young
just
lady.
fascinated.
Yeah.
Just trying to soak it all in.
You establish your hand. You say, "I am ready to receive."
So I will
The
tell
art.
you, sophomore year, right? So you always had like varsity JV, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you had to be out there with like the secondary JV guys, like the twos on JV.
Freshman kind of.
Vinny Galato.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A little bit different taking the snap. One snapped it point first, like he didn't turn it. That hurts.
Ouch.
I'll tell you, that hurts.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to turn it so it cuts right into your hand, ready
Right.
to
So
ready
when
to
you
use your gun.
when you center the ball,
Yeah.
it's like this,
Yeah.
and then
Don't move it forward.
You turn it.
Nick Leverett.
Right. Which, by the way, was a garbage
Oh, it
call, I
was.
think.
It
But
was.
anyway, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah. We want to have as little
You
motion
turn,
when
you
you get
turn the
the
ball, so you're giving the quarterback the ball sideways.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really good at it, you should have it so the laces are on the fingers. This kid, Vinny, did not turn the ball. He snapped it like point first. So the point just came up and hammered me, right? And I was like, ow!
I can't quarterback with this. The
Like, what are
franchise is hurt.
What are we doing?
It's funny
This is
watching.
what happens with a third string JV guy. No, it was bad.
It's funny watching kids do flag football these days because they ain't going anywhere near butts. They're like, they kind of like
Oh,
reach
yeah.
under and they don't
They
even want to be
lift
close
it up
to it.
and they
They're like-
hand it to the guy.
yeah.
And you wonder why no one's comfortable. And we're back to Drake May.
Stephen Carmel, New York says for me specifically, just want to say 13-4 is still on the table.
There it is. Boom.
Fred
Yep.
hasn't said that in a while. It's been 2
No.
years since you did that.
I don't want to tease the fans.
Oh hey.
Kakar from Jacksonville writes in, with Nico Collins out, will Christian Gonzalez shadow Diggs the whole game? I'm strongly considering benching Diggs in fantasy if that's the case.
Ooh. Well, they've been
I
playing a
haven't
lot
s-
of zones. So,
I haven't seen
you know.
Gonzalez shadow anybody
No,
yet.
It's,
So
that's the big thing. They've been playing a lot more zones, so he might be on a side, but I think there will be snaps for sure. Like probably
Yeah,
third
I wouldn't
downs
mind
where he
seeing it.
follows them, but probably not the whole game.
I'd
It's just
sign
not
up
how they've
for
been
it,
playing.
but they haven't really been doing it.
Yeah.
I think this is the week.
Yeah.
It's the
Just
week
the
for
whole
everything.
time.
This is it. We're going for
I'd love
it.
to see Diggs frustrated. That'd be fun.
Let's go to Courtney in Houston. What's up, Courtney? Courtney.
Good job, Hardy.
Courtney. She's no longer there.
Morgan.
It's Courtney's a fun Boston name to say with a Boston.
Was that a
Courtney.
Morgan? Is that a
Courtney,
Morgan?
where are you?
Is that a Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan.
Adam in
Keep
Louisiana
antagonizing.
wants to know from Paul, would you be able to tell which of your centers was snapping the ball if you were blindfolded?
Yeah, he would just smell their perspiration.
I could probably tell the difference between John Shenner and somebody else because
Did he have
that's
a
the
big,
one.
a big buttocks? Or?
He did.
Yeah.
He did,
Yeah,
but
so-
that's probably the guy that I
But you're
took snaps from.
blindfolded.
Your hand's getting
You have
swallowed.
to go based off the smell
Now
of
I'm
your
trying to think. Huh. I'm having a brain cramp. I don't remember who the center was my senior year.
You'd probably know his
Shenner
butt if
was a
you
year
saw it.
older than me.
You blacked out. That whole senior year was kind of a haze.
Purple haze.
Yeah.
Traumatic.
Ian Fallon says, we make little turkey and cheese sliders on King's Hawaiian. They're always a big hit at picnics and outdoor events.
It's really nice and easy because you can just get the whole little bag of them and just cut it right across.
Right.
Oh, really?
You
Is
see
that
that all the time.
Yeah.
No, it's like a TikTok social media thing.
Make like 30 sandwiches at once.
Right.
And
Right.
Steve C. in South Yarmouth says, I love the pick segment. Look forward to your picks every week.
Thanks, Steve.
People rely on me for my
Reassuring,
picks, I
thank
feel
you.
like. You know, they
Yeah,
want to
to know who not to pick.
I'll
Well,
tell
if you don't like it, it's
they
the
ain't
end of the
relying
week,
on
and
me.
end of the show. Just go do something else.
It is a good way to end the show.
I go
at
to
the end of the
Bucks,
week.
2 minutes, feel shame with my picks.
Oh, really? That
Oh,
bad for
God,
you?
I'm terrible.
That's not like you, Paul.
Not necessarily this week, but for the season. I'm in
Yeah.
last place.
Right.
Richard says the problem with the pick segment is that you all just say a bunch of jargon.
Yeah.
That's
the point.
That to folks who do not gamble makes no sense. It
Fred.
would be better if you had a graphic on the YouTube stream or whiteboard that track what each person picked and also tries to explain what it all means.
Yeah, but then we'd have to be accountable.
I know. Well, we are somewhat accountable, but I feel like this is going to trigger Fred now today, and he's going to be all up in his what do the sharps know and chalk and all his little little nuance.
The very few people that don't like the picks contest don't like it because of you.
Yeah, right.
That's okay.
Right. You don't
It's
take
the
it
jar.
seriously.
It's the jargon.
We from Wisconsin says hating the picks is crazy. How else am I supposed to learn accurate betting parlance?
That's good. That's somebody
See?
who knows the show.
Oh, everyone's now writing in. Paul in the Colony, New York. Love the picks. Keep it up. When's the newsletter email coming out?
Oh, yeah.
Alex?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
I got a bunch of potential segments to send you guys.
Oh.
Okay, but
All
like,
right.
when's it coming out?
Good deal.
Come on.
Well, considering I just found out I'm in charge of this
I
at the
don't
end
know.
of last week.
You gotta move quick.
Well, doesn't it come out Fridays?
Yes.
Is it every Friday?
Supposed to.
Every Friday.
Every Friday.
But you didn't say you wanted to start. I didn't know if you wanted to start this week.
Well, let's
I thought we were doing the draft.
I don't want to
this
start
week.
next season. Let's go.
All right. I was under the impression we were doing a draft this week, seeing how we liked it.
Okay.
And then
I thought you
letting
meant
it
like
rip
a
next week.
draft.
But
Either way,
if you
but
want it for tomorrow, I got you.
I want to know when the first one's coming out. Anyway, Evan's here.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, Evan, before we get into what you saw.
Yes.
Yesterday, Gerard Mayo made a comment about how this team is familiar with the Houston defense. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, so we were
Figured you would.
We were actually just talking about this when we, Alex and I, when we were walking here, because all we do is talk ball.
Not Connor
now,
McDermott.
right?
They're ball knowers.
Yeah. So many teams now are just like playing the same offense or defense. So I was just telling him, 4 weeks in a row now, it's the same offensive system. From the Jets to the Niners to the Dolphins to now the Houston Texans, all Shanahan-style West Coast, all
Okay.
of them. Defensively, the 49ers and the Jets are all Seattle 3 disciple teams, along with this Houston Texans team with DeMeco Ryans, who obviously comes from the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. So
give Mike a pat in the back.
Yeah, so it's really, this league is becoming really predictable. Like everybody runs kind of the same base stuff, and it's just sort of. We were talking about it because to segue into practice, Kyle Duggar was back at practice today.
Hey.
I believe last week Kyle Duggar also practiced on Thursday. Thursday is a big third down day for them defensively, which is really when the game plan stuff comes in, because first and second down is just your base stuff for the most part. You'll have your matchups and things like that are game plan specific, but you're not reinventing the wheel so much on first and second down. So if he has a chance to play in the game on Sunday, then you need him to know what's going on third down and what their plan is against the Texans. So Kyle Duggar was back at practice. Ramondre Stevenson still missing from practice. He has not been there the last 2 days. So that's not trending in a great direction. And then a couple guys on the practice squad also weren't present. Tristan Hill, Jack Westover, the tight end that they added, is still not practicing currently. So good and bad news, as always.
That's good.
So Ramondre must have been a pretty bad bruise to that shin.
Well, it's listed as a foot.
It's listed as a
really?
foot.
Oh.
Yes.
In media after that game, he said he took a helmet to the calf, if I remember correctly.
to the calf?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now they're listing it as a foot injury, and for what it's worth, he is not. I haven't seen him. Like, he hasn't been in locker room, open locker room. He hasn't been out at practice. So I don't know what's going on with that situation, but
that hurts.
Like I said, not trending in the right direction. So Kevin Harris, Terrell Jennings on the practice squad. I would say attention goes to those two guys potentially for elevations if Ramondre can't go. But those are the only two guys that weren't participants yesterday. So they're relatively healthy, I would say.
Let's see. It's about 58 degrees out.
Yes.
How are guys dressed? Usually the colder it is, the less they dress. When it gets really hot, they wear the hoodies. And
I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Taking notes about.
Well, the big thing is that they're in the throwback helmets. So a lot of very cool swag with the throwback helmets. They got the visors going and with the throwbacks. It's a good look. It's a good look.
I like white helmets.
Yeah,
white helmets are nice.
Yeah, I saw Keishon Booty, Kendrick Bourne. They were wearing the visors, and it looks slick.
That goes hard.
Badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're not in pads today.
No pads. No pads. Pads Wednesdays. No pads on Thursdays. So they're in the soft shoulder pads.
Was there a lot of grumbling, grousing, complaining about the new NFLPA rule? Because we talked about that earlier.
Yeah,
good question, Fred.
it's an interesting one. I do think that the beat is trying to work with the players genuinely. Like, I don't think that it's nefarious on either side that they're trying to dodge it or anything like that. I just think that finding the right places to do it is going to be the key moving forward. But there are players that have asked me, that have asked everybody, hey, can we go outside? Can we do this outside?
We'll step outside.
Yeah, even if it's just
one-on-one.
So it's interesting.
Okay. And because of that, how was the mood?
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
Well, all together.
You do need to. Yesterday was a disaster.
I know, Evan. We already covered it. Thank you.
We already told
copious notes about how Fred grills Evan. After
and it
practice.
also took me I was off my game because it just wasn't the same.
Believe me.
Yeah, he threw everything out of whack. Is
Yeah,
what I'm told.
yeah, he
Trying
did.
my best here, guys.
No, it was a little lighter contingent, I would say.
Definitely.
Than yesterday, but even we lost people along the way. So I think AVP spoke earlier. That's obviously a big news item right now, is what he had to say about Drake Maye. Jacoby spoke in a scrum outside the locker room today. So I think a lot of people broke off to go write those things up instead of come out to practice.
So Mike, you took notes.
I did. That was great job, Fred. Good questions.
And I make it look
easy.
Right. And you know what else is easy? Bud Light. It's easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor, I should say, of the New England Patriots. And before we get into these picks, I just want to let people know that the long fall a day weekend, I guess
I got that right yesterday,
is almost here, and you can get ready for the epic Patriots-Texans matchup by hosting a cozy watch party with Bob's Discount Furniture. Party-ready dining sets for your game day snacks, relaxing reclining sectionals for your cheering section, Bob-O-Pedic mattresses to dream about the next game. These are all questions, apparently. When you shop the Bob's Dare to Compare Challenge, you'll find everything you need, and all for way less than the competition. So stop in and see how much you can save when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. Okay.
Yeah, Ev, on the Open today included sort of a little back and forth, and you and I immediately sort of jumping ugly on Mike, it was a little early with the mood question. You got to let it marinate a little bit
too. Why are you railroading me back there, Jules?
That was good. It was part of the Open.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, but Mike's not an error repeater. And he was taking notes today. And he was making sure that the next time it's the PP and the deuce, we'll
I'll nail it.
Be better.
I don't know.
That needs to be a working title. We need to.
All right. It's that time of the week. So, Paul, what happened last week?
All right, yeah. I mean, my stay at the top was short-lived. Fred just continues to set the pace at 10-4.
Well, listen,
Give a feel
it's
for
a
the
feel
league.
for
10-4 because we had some buys last week. Mike,
all right, I was
gonna need you to keep up.
Did he not pick all the games?
Okay, Mike and Alex 9-5.
Yeah.
Followed by Evan and Paul at 8-6. So I am back in the basement where I belong.
We're not doing well.
With the spread, Fred and Mike 8-5-1.
All right.
Followed by Paul at 7-6-1, Alex at 6-7-1, and Evan at 5-8-1.
That's not good.
So, season standings: Fred and Alex 45-33, Paul 44-34, disgustingly in third place. I'm not happy with that. Mike and Evan 42-36. I'm even more disgusted at myself with the spread. Yeah. Fred, 42, 33, and 3. That's a very solid record with the number.
Well, listen,
That's not time for speeches.
Alex, 40, 35, and 3. Also a very solid record with the number.
Making money.
Evan, Mike, 39, 36, and 3. You guys are making money. And the one anchor of the show, Paul, 37, 38, and 3.
I don't know what's going on with
I
Paul
know. What
this
would
week.
people in
I
Everett
don't
say
have
about
I don't have a
this?
feel for the league.
No.
I don't have a
Poly
feel for
bag
the
of
league.
donuts.
All right.
You know what's killing me? In all seriousness, I keep picking games where I'm on an island. You know, like you guys all pick one thing and I'm the other.
Yeah.
And I'm coming so close to winning, but I just can't win them.
Well, that's
I
the
had
league.
Cincinnati last week.
That's where the feel comes in.
I mean, they're up by 10 with 5 minutes left in the game, and they go to overtime. They have a field goal in overtime, and the jackass holder drops the ball. Like, I just can't win. No,
Or you
I
could just pick 'em, right?
last place is last place, Fred. No excuses.
Teams on the
All
bye.
results.
Teams
no
on the bye
excuses.
this week. Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, and Vikings are not playing this week, so adjust
undefeated
your
teams.
fantasy team
Yeah.
accordingly. All right, tonight on Prime Video,
Good one.
8:15, the 2-3 49ers are at the 3-2 Seahawks.
Good game.
The Niners by 3.5. The suddenly reeling Niners, by the way.
Yeah. And Seattle lost last week too, didn't they?
Yes, they lost to the Giants.
Yeah, that's
At home.
Man, two teams. Usually I pick Seattle. Oh, sorry. Did you have the
San Francisco by 3.5.
Yeah. Oh, hey, my sheet was right.
Just to let you go, a lot of road favorites this week.
Yeah,
Adjust your picks
The
accordingly.
Sharps
as
know
Fred
some
would say.
things this week.
Yeah, usually I
Yeah.
go with Seattle at home. I like them there, but tough to pick them after losing to the friggin' Danny Dimes without Malik Nabbers. I'm going to take the 49ers, and I will lay the points.
I'm going to take the Niners to win. I'm going to give Seattle the points at home.
Oh, the hoof.
Yeah.
Sticking with my guy, going Niners. Brock Purdy 3-0 in his career.
Wait, did you just say he's your guy?
The character
Yeah.
arc of Evan with
Kyle
Brock
Shanahan?
Purdy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I
I think Alex has it right. I think San Francisco will find a way to win the
I'm
game
gonna change
because
my pick then.
the-
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have to remove my glasses for that. my TJ readers. I think that San Francisco will win because they own the
They own
Seahawks, but
Seattle.
I like the hook. I'm going to take the hook.
This is a tough one.
It is.
The Sharps know something because, like you said, both teams aren't, playing that well. Seahawks losing to the Giants was huge. But yet they give the 49ers the points in this game going on the road. So they know something, and this is where you got to go with what the Sharps say, and you go with the 49ers to win the game and cover.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Yeah.
They're telling you, they're giving you clues. They're giving you clues. All right, now we move to...
We all took San Francisco. I don't know who you're trying to convince.
I think you just went direct to camera on that one, too.
Now we go to Sunday morning, 9:30 from London, the 1-4 Jaguars against the 3-2 Bears.
Chicago by 2.5.
Ooh, that's another interesting game here. Jacksonville trying to climb back out of the doghouse. We talked a lot about them. They are at home, though, aren't they? Jacksonville, technically. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
no,
Technically,
the Bears
it's
are at home here.
And yet Jacksonville plays all their games in London. I'm going to just go with Jacksonville, and I will take those points.
Is it technically a Bears home game?
Yes, it is. Yep.
They're
Who'd you
on the
take?
bottom.
I took Jacksonville. What were the points, Paul? Sorry.
Chicago by 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. Yeah. All right, so I'll take Jacksonville plus 2.5, please.
I kind of like the upset there, too.
Okay.
I don't care for the scheduling by the league.
No?
So the Jaguars are in London 2 weeks in a row. The Patriots have to go to London next Thursday in the middle of the week and then play a game on Sunday and then no bye after London. Patriots getting shafted in that one.
Well, I believe they did not request a bye after London.
Well, that is information I did not have.
It's kind of like a West Coast trip.
Right.
for us,
Isn't that
so.
what they told us?
Yeah. They didn't.
But I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's an advantage for the
Because
Jaguars.
you do have an option to request a bye after an international game, and I believe the Patriots opted not to do that.
But I'm assuming Jacksonville is staying there.
Oh, yeah.
This whole
I
week.
would assume that.
Jeez, they better.
So, don't really care for that.
Who you
It's a
taking in the
competitive
game?
Advantage. Chicago. I'm gonna take
Suddenly, it's 2018, and it's all about the Roger Goodell hating
Do you
the
think
Patriots.
if they're there for 2 weeks, they bring their own food kind of stuff? I would imagine that's one thing that would throw some of the team off, like me, not being out of my routine and not,
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard when we were in Germany. Me and
Would you
Paul
take
went
a
to
bunch of Jersey Mike
Five Guys.
subs?
I would. I would think that I was going to bring up the Five
Smuggle
Guys in
them in.
Germany. How we,
That
that
was
was like
hilarious.
God sent at that point. And I wonder about the food while you're there.
Guys are so cultured.
So it is strange. I'm with you guys. I'm going to take Jacksonville too.
I did go to McDonald's,
took
but it was
Chicago,
for
by the way.
anthropology.
I thought you said Jacksonville.
No, Chicago.
Oh, hold on.
Caleb Williams. I'm riding with Caleb.
So I like what they're doing. I just feel like Jacksonville might be a little bit more, and I think they have a chance to maybe keep it going.
Yep.
In London.
You're right, Paul. Jacksonville wins this game.
I very rarely have been.
But, I kind of like this schedule, Evan, because Jacksonville's going to be in London all that time. And you know how it was when we did those 2 games in preseason on the road. By the time you get to the end, like
is
the
Trent
players,
Brown playing for the Jags?
The players just want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Like you've been away from home that long.
I actually agree.
So
with
I
you.
like that.
Yeah.
I like the.
That's how we got the Jacoby Myers lateral.
That's right.
Not to bring up bad times.
No, it's true. I
Yeah.
mean,
Wasn't it the Ramondre lateral?
They're back-to-back games, so it's like.
Oh, right.
That game is on NFL Network, by the way. 1 o'clock on Sunday now on CBS. The 4-1 Commanders are at the 3-2 Ravens.
Who would have thought this would be one of the games of the week?
Right.
Great game.
And it is. Ravens by 6.5.
Oh boy, if it was still Mike McDonald in Baltimore, I might say I thought they'd have something for Jaden Daniels. But I think Baltimore's going to win the game, but that's a lot of points, and I think Jaden Daniels can score, so I'll take the points for Washington. Please.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same way Mike did.
I was going to take Baltimore both ways. You guys are swaying me a little. I just think this might be finally the game where a much more complete team in Baltimore kind of shows Washington up. So I'm going to go Baltimore, but I'll take the points for Washington.
Just so you know, Ev, I've been going with that theory for a couple of weeks now, and you can see where I reside in the standings when it comes to Washington. But I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take Baltimore to win. I will take the points, though. I think Mike's point about Daniels, this is 3 weeks in a row now, has really lit it up. So Ravens defense isn't right. I saw Kyle Hamilton had a lot of critical things to say about him and his group today. So I'll take the points.
Much like the 49ers game, the Sharps are giving you what they call a signpost game.
Is that what the Sharps call it?
Yeah, and this is why they don't like the segment.
This is the jargon.
This is signpost game.
We need a board with a
You want to
definition.
take the Ravens both ways in this game.
I'll shoot.
So
Too late for
they're
me.
giving you a clue. Fox at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The 2-3 Cardinals are at the 3-2 Packers.
Packers by 5.5.
There's some, not everything great in Green Bay right now. There's some tension there. But you know what? I love Green Bay. I like them at home. I don't love Kyler Murray outside, and maybe it gets a little cold. I don't know. I'm going to take Green Bay. Lay the points.
I'm going to take Green Bay to win. I'm going to split it, though.
That's probably smart. I wish I did that now.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing because the Cardinals have been pretty competitive in most of their games. So I don't think it's going to be a big deficit, but I'll take Green Bay at Lambeau.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the Packers, but I am going to take them, and I'm going to agree with Mike because I think the Cardinals are different outside, and Kyler Murray in particular, Lambeau. I think I'm going to lay the points. Green Bay both ways.
Is there snow there yet? Probably.
Shot at short people.
Yeah, I think Evan and Alex are correct. In fact, this is your spread lock of the week.
Yeah.
But the Packers win, but the Cardinals cover. So there you go. Take the money line.
Just saying words.
It's a word salad.
Sunday at 1 on Fox, the 3-2 Buccaneers are at the 2-3 Saints.
Bucks by 3.5. No Derek Carr, correct?
Correct.
It's
Jake
Hayner.
Hayner.
Jake
Don't
Hayner.
sleep on the Hayner, though.
Yeah. What was the? Sorry. What was this?
3.5.
3.5.
Bucks by 3.5.
Bucks. Oh, jeez, that's flipped. Yeah, I don't think Jake Hayner can get it done. I know it's a tough place to play, but Baker Mayfield's played there before, and I think he'll be all right. So I'm going to take the Bucks, and I'll lay the points.
Bucks.
Yeah, I can do the same. I think Jake Hayner's a little feisty, but not feisty enough.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks both ways without Carr.
Baker bakes. It's a better league with him. Buccaneers both ways. Sunday at 1 on Fox, the 1-4 Browns are at the 2-2 Eagles.
Eagles by 9.5 in the biggest spread of the week.
Oh, Danny. That's
coming
a big
off a
one.
bye, I believe.
Man, it just seems like things are bad in Cleveland. They want to make a quarterback switch. They can't.
I don't really understand.
Jameis Winston's hilarious, though. Have you seen any?
Hell
of him?
yeah.
Is he eating W's on the sideline?
I
again?
love him.
The funniest. I saw like a super cut of him being ridiculous, and he cracks me up. He's hilarious. But I think Philadelphia blows doors. I'm going to take Philly, and I'm actually going to lay those all 9.5 of them.
Philly.
Philly.
This is Dad's survivor pool pick of the week. The Eagles. Over the Browns. He's in first place. He has 1 strike. He's doing pretty well. Gonna go Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Eagles also. Cleveland just can't get out of its own way. There's something broken there, and it's more than just Watson. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. The feeling I'm getting from the league is that the Eagles win, but they don't cover.
Okay.
Wow.
So I will be going that
So I don't really get the whole
feel for the league.
No, like if Watson's
How could he? I mean,
Watson's been bad, right? And he's throwing for he's like Brissett. He's throwing for like 125 yards every game. Like, why can't you're paying him anyway?
Yeah, right.
Why does he have to play?
Yeah. Right.
And it's not like you're saving money by playing him. You're
Right.
losing games. Make a change if you want to make a change. Good money after bad, or something like that.
Okay. CBS at 1 o'clock. 2-3 Colts are at the 1-3 Titans.
So this spread
Are we
actually
at the point where we have to start rooting for some of these one-win teams?
No, we're not.
This spread
Drake
kind of
May's starting.
surprised me. Tennessee by 2.5.
And who is quarterback for these Tennessee Titans?
Levi's.
I think Levi's
is
will be
Levi's
back,
still
right?
out there? All right. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, divisional matchup, tight one. I used to like Tennessee, but Vrabel's not there anymore. I'm going with Colts on the road, plus 2.5.
I'm gonna reluctantly take the home team.
The Titans.
I'm gonna take the Colts too. Upset on the road. I don't like either of these teams.
Yeah,
though.
this is one. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm
This
going
is
to
like
take.
an eeny, meeny,
I'm
miny,
going to take
moe
the
game.
Colts too, but I like the Fred thing worries me.
Why?
Like what? Like I just feel like the Colts are significantally better than the Titans, but I guess they're not.
Right. There's been a few of
Because
these
the
kind of
spread wouldn't
spreads
be
this
like
year.
this, but
Yeah.
I'll take the Colts.
Is there somebody hurt that we don't know about?
I mean,
Very possibly.
It was like banged
well, and
up.
what
and-
you know, Richardson's been hurt. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
playing.
he's been hurt.
He's
yeah.
gonna play.
Yeah.
Oh, he's playing?
I think so.
Oh, I feel less good. I
You wanted Joe.
Flacco?
Yeah, I thought he lit it up last week. Put
Yeah.
like 34 on the board. I'll take the Colts anyway.
I'm going to take the Colts both ways as well. Well, they're not favorites, so I don't have to say both ways, right?
But
So
you will anyway, just to confuse people and have
Right.
some people not like this segment.
All right, now we're going to skip over the Patriots at 1 o'clock, and we'll move to the 4:05 game on CBS. The 2-2 Chargers are at the 3-2 Broncos.
It's got an interesting defense they got there in Denver. Chargers by 2.5. This is another one of those road favorites I was talking to you guys about.
Boy. So Herbert's still banged up, fighting through it, right? Yeah, this is a tough one, man. I'm going to go with Denver at home. I don't know. Everybody's all up in Patrick Surtain these days, and Bo Nix is putting out Ferris Bueller videos. So I'm going to take the Broncos at home.
You don't have to mention that they're at home.
Oh, okay.
Because they're
They're
always
always
at
at
home.
Did you ever learn
What's
that
the
from
Ferris
Fred?
Bueller videos?
I like
Sean Payton said he's got a little Ferris Bueller in him.
Yeah,
so
and he
Bo
put like
Nix
a-
actually created
It's
a
like a
video
rebel
about
or
himself.
something? Is that what it is?
Yeah, do you know what Ferris Bueller's Day Off
I
is?
know what it is. I just don't really understand.
It's one of the great movies of all
It's a
time.
movie.
It's fantastic.
You know that one?
Of course.
Okay,
Come on,
I
we're not-
gotta ask.
we weren't
You
born
never,
yesterday.
he doesn't like
Yeah.
Jaws, and you've never seen it.
Well,
so,
Jaws, yeah, doesn't hold up.
Jaws 2 doesn't hold up.
They all don't.
Jaws 2 was not good. But
Where's the shark? Never seen it.
it was great. What do you got, Alex?
I got. Deuce is tempting me. I'm gonna go with Denver. Why not?
Come to the dark side.
Mhm.
Bo Nix.
I'm going to go Denver as well. That defense is playing fantastic. Patrick Surtain, probably the defensive player of the year at this point of the season. So I'm going to go with Denver. I think they do it again.
I agree. I've been very impressed with the Broncos defense. Back to back, completely shutting down teams. I'm going to take the Chargers coming off the bye. I think maybe Herbert's a little bit healthier with some rest. I'll take the Chargers.
I got a crush, and it's
Oh,
orange.
boy.
I'm taking the Broncos.
You're not going to break out the Mecklenburg shirt, are you?
I might.
I hope they wear those again.
Taking
Those
the
are-
Broncos.
Those are great.
4:05 on CBS.
See, now that's a game the Chargers will lose on the last play of the game. That's an island game, and I'll lose it in excruciating fashion.
4:05 CBS. The
guy.
3-2 Steelers are at the
Last.
2-3 Raiders.
I stink. Pittsburgh by 3.
So when you scream out in agony, I'll know at red zone what happened.
I had that one. I was all by myself.
All right. So this is Pittsburgh at Vegas. That's what we're on.
Yes, Pittsburgh
All right.
by 3.
Pittsburgh by 3. Ah, God. This is tough. And I know Russell Wilson is getting back into the mix, but I'll go with Pittsburgh. I'll go with Pittsburgh on the road. I struggle to pick the Raiders. I feel like they're in chaos. And
It will be Aiden O'Connell this week.
Yeah, I don't think they want to admit like how sideways things
Raiders
are going
blew
now.
that. They announced it.
Yeah, could have had to prepare. They're like, who is it, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell? Please tell us. Our preparation depends on it.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh too. I just trust their defense more than anything else in this game. But it does sound like Russell Wilson's breathing down Justin Fields' neck. Another L could be Mr. Unlimited.
And he did actually was a full participant, which I hadn't realized because I think I said to Matt on the pregame show last week that he was healthy. I guess he hadn't been fully healthy. I think he could have been playing the last couple of weeks, but now he's a full participant.
It's just got to be a bummer
Russell
because
Wilson.
as a fan, I would want the younger Fields. We've got we rescued him, and now it's like no, we're going back to the guy who's probably going
I
to be out of
couldn't
the
agree
league.
more. I'm
nowhere.
going to take Pittsburgh. I don't have a lot of faith in it though. This is.
Yeah, my gut said Raiders, and I'm going to stick with it. My brain says Steelers, but I'm going to go with my significant gut.
This is one of your island games.
Yeah.
Significant gut.
4:25 on Fox. The 3-2 Falcons are at the 1-4 Panthers.
You like that?
Falcons by 6. Wah, wah.
Falcons by 6. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. They got their little bump from Andy Dalton, and they fell back. I'm going to take Atlanta. I'll lay the points.
Retweet.
Yeah, Atlanta. I think Atlanta's kind of rolling now a little bit.
Yeah, they had the mini bye as well, so I'll lay the points too. Falcons.
Yep, me too. Falcons. 4:25 on Fox. The 3-1 Lions are at the 3-2 Cowboys.
This would be probably the game of the week.
Yeah.
Lions by 3 on the road.
Lions by 3 on the road. Fun game. I guess this will be in the. It's 4:25, so we'll get that in the post game show. That'll be good.
This will be a focus of Red Zone Paul.
Yeah, it's a good game. I'm gonna go Dallas at home, and I'll take those points in a tight
Really?
one.
Sucker.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna do it.
Fred chastises you for making a pick.
Well, we'll see next week, Fred, who's right and who's wrong.
I'll take Detroit to win. I'll take Dallas to cover at home.
What was the line again? 3. Yeah, I'm gonna take Detroit both ways. I don't think all is right in Jerry World. It smells down there.
Yeah, injuries.
You know what it smells like?
racking up.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, I like that.
What does that
What
smell like?
does that smell like?
Kind of like your
You would
center's
know.
butt.
Kinda
His
like
feet. He doesn't wear
snorting and
socks,
stuff,
I heard.
like-
Oh, I did hear that story too. Bill didn't.
Yeah, worst.
That was good.
Remember? Yeah, Edelman,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I will take the Lions both ways as well. I think first of all, I think they're better, but I also think Micah Parsons is Lawrence back for Dallas.
I don't know.
Marcus
I don't
Lawrence.
have their injury report.
Yeah, they're struggling. I agree with Evan. I think there's something wrong there.
Yeah, America's team, the Detroit Lions, wins the game.
That's fair.
Yep. All right, we go to 8:20 on Sunday night on NBC Universo, Telexitos and
ESPN Deportes.
Oh, Peacock.
right?
Yeah, for the cord cutters.
Yep.
Yep.
1-4 Bengals are at the 2-3 Giants.
Cincinnati by 3.5.
Oh boy, yeah. I think I feel kind of good about this one. I'm going to take Cincinnati, and I will lay those points.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cincy both ways too, but damn, if they don't win this game,
Yeah,
overhaul it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Burn
Cincy
it all
both ways
down.
too. I don't think Neighbors gonna play in this game again. It doesn't sound like, and so the Giants can be on Sunday Night Football, but the Patriots can't be on Sunday Night Football. That's what I got some gripes with the league right now.
I don't complain.
Hey, we get nice early nights
This
now.
guy. He's got like 14 1 o'clocks in a row, and he's complaining.
Life is good.
No one wants to watch it.
I will
I'm
take
home for Sunday
Cincinnati
Night Football.
to win the game, but I'm going to take the hook. That Bengals defense is wretchedly bad. I have a hard time laying a lot of points, but I'll take the Bengals to win, Giants to cover.
I will take the Giants winning outright.
Ooh, Freddie.
So there you go. F the Bengals.
I was going to say, I hate Cincinnati.
Monday night, 8:15, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Deportes. the 3-2 Bills
Closing.
against the 2-3 Jets.
Buffalo by 2.5.
Man, that I'm going to take Buffalo to win this one. I mean, the Jets seem like they're searching for answers, although
New head coach effect.
the new head coach.
Yeah, that's
I
what
just
I'm,
thought
like,
of that as
caught
I
up
said
on.
it, but it's not going to be
Right.
enough. RA gets it done. Buffalo, lay the points.
I think so too. Buffalo.
The new coach thing is throwing me off a little bit. Usually you do get that
But
bump.
it's still the Jets.
But I think I'm going to take Buffalo mainly because they've lost 2 in a row, and I think they have to
Get right game.
get themselves right. So I'm going to take Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo both ways, right? It's 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not feeling great about it, though. 3 road games in a row. They look like they're tired. Buffalo
Yeah.
doesn't, like Fred's closing window theory aside, they don't look good. But I'll take Buffalo. I think the Jets' offense is a little bit
Started
broken.
too hot.
Yeah. I don't know why, exactly what Saleh was doing to have been fired other than not winning games. But, the defensive coordinator is still there. The offensive coordinator, Hackett's still there. Rodgers.
He did lose his play calling
He
duties.
did.
Oh, did he?
Todd Downing's calling the plays now. Yeah.
Oh. That's interesting. Isn't Hackett Rodgers' guy?
The passing
Yeah.
game coordinator
Supposedly.
is taking over the play calling.
Because I know that Rodgers took offense at the question, did you have any role in the firing of Saleh? He was like, really adamant that he had
Me?
nothing to do with that.
No, come on. What are you talking about?
But do you
be
think that
honest,
he
I
had
didn't
anything
even
to do
know.
with Hackett losing the play calling?
Maybe that was the compromise.
That was the
We'll
that,
fire
that
him,
was
but
the
you gotta
rub. The rub
throw it.
was that Saleh wanted to fire Hackett, and Hackett and Rodgers supposedly kind of.
Yet Hackett loses
looking for the
play
right
calling.
word.
Palace
Who
intrigue.
took
Yeah.
away his play calling? If the coaches, the head coach got fired, who's the one that told Hackett you're no longer calling plays?
I guess the new guy,
Jeff
Ulrich.
Ulbrich.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so he stepped in on day one, and so
Alexander
Man.
Haig.
wow, if I
That's
dare say
Fred
that's
explaining
kind of ballsy. Yeah.
That's what it seems like. The defensive coordinator is taking over as the interim coach,
Yeah.
and I think it's his call. I think he made the call.
Oh, okay. So I'm going with the Jets.
After all that,
I'm going with the Jets. Yep. All right.
Gotta hurry.
Now we move back to Sunday at 1 on CBS. Finally, the Jets are on the Patriots are back on CBS. This is key. Being back on CBS.
All is right.
It has been weird, yeah.
Yeah, 4-1 Texans at the 1-4 Patriots. Drake Maye era begins.
we just need Jim Nantz and Phil Simms to really.
They haven't been on CBS since week 1, huh?
Right.
Because Seattle was Fox, then it was the Prime, and
Yeah.
then Fox for San Francisco, Fox for Miami.
That's right.
The prime.
The Prime.
That's right. They're back where they should be.
Texans by 7.
Yeah, I wish I could do it. I'm hoping for a scrappy effort this weekend from Drake Maye and make some plays, just give some hope to the Patriots fan base. But this Houston seems pretty good. Even without their weapons, I think they're going to come in here with something to prove. So I'm going to take Houston to win the game, and unfortunately, I'm going to lay the points, as tempted as I am to think that New England puts up a little bit of a fight and keeps it close. I think it'll be closer, not like 10, but I think it's 7.5 is enough.
Houston wins. Drake Maye leads the Patriots to cover the spread. 27
He
to
covered
20.
the spread.
I'll take it.
We're gonna be celebrating.
We
that.
will be.
Yeah,
We
are.
run out. We do the victory can.
Shirts off.
I feel the same way. We were talking on the playbook yesterday with the Texans reporter, and he was saying that they've really kind of shot themselves in the foot in a lot of these games, and that's why they're not scoring as many points as they would like to be scoring. So I think the Texans still have some things to work out with themselves, and they have no Nico Collins now offensively. So I like the Patriots to cover, like Alex, but I am taking the Texans to win the game. I'll say 24-17. I think Drake Maye wakes up the offense a little bit.
Yeah, I could definitely see what you guys are talking about. Houston, we had talked about 4-1, but with a negative point differential, which is kind of odd. So their games have been close.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough first game for Drake Maye, with the defense. And I would feel better if the Texans were rolling. I think that what Evan said is true. I think they have some things to work through and they're still searching to play good football. They really haven't,
Yeah.
even though their record says they're one of the best teams. They haven't played that way. So I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to take Houston both ways. I'm going to say 27-13. Is that what I said on the? 23-13, 27. What did I say? I don't
It's
know.
not my job to
I like
remember
to
what
be
you say, Paul.
consistent, but something like that.
Paul's selective memory again.
Yeah.
I can't
He's trying to
do
be
it.
consistent, but he can't.
You're too old. That's what Jules told me. Jules. Different Jules.
Patriots do cover this game. Drake Maye has a good game. He does get sacked 3 times, but he looks okay.
That'd be fantastic if he only got sacked 3 times.
Yeah, he looks okay, and I think we come out of this game saying, we got a guy.
I hope so.
Well, you're going to say that regardless.
I know.
He's going to hand the ball off, and you're going to say, did you see that?
He looks good doing it.
21-17 is your score, so the Patriots cover.
Love it.
Yep. So there it is. Those are the picks that you all hate. Some of you like. We have the Catch-22 coming up after this show.
Yes.
Never know what's going to happen on that show.
We have the
that's not fair.
pregame show on Sunday at 10:45.
Yeah, 10:45.
10:45, and then we
Yes.
have the post-game show immediately afterwards. So big weekend coming up. I can't wait. Drake Maye, let's go. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.